The Big Game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Egan, King 5 Sports. The big game of the week, we've got a dandy this week. The Issaquah Eagles hosting the Skyline Spartans. Head coach of Issaquah, Joshua Brookshire, joins us now. 6-year head coach of the Eagles. And Coach, you haven't been there for every game of this rivalry, but this is always fun when you face off against Skyline.
Yeah, this is a big one. You know, coming from out of state, didn't quite understand, how big this game is until the first year. We get a 3 lightning delay, late night finisher the first time, and go back and forth for several years together. And it's a big one for our community, and I know it is for them as well.
You have over 20 seniors on this team. How much does that help you as a coach to have all that senior leadership?
It's been tremendous. We think last year's senior group really laid a lot of bricks and a good foundation that these kids could follow. Tremendous leaders in this group. They understand our system. They know what we're doing. It's a great group of guys.
I love playing here. I do. It's a beautiful stadium. Issaquah's got a great squad this year. Josh is a heck of a coach. The Issaquah rivalry runs deep in my veins, just like the Apple Cup. But this was my first rivalry, so I'm excited. The boys are excited. It's gonna be a fun night. Anytime you can get out and. High school football rivalries are they're pure. They're pure rivalries. It's gonna be fun.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Gary Moore Stadium in beautiful Issaquah, Washington. Just a gorgeous night for some high school football in the King 5 big game of the week. Tonight it is a rivalry matchup. Issaquah facing off against Skyline. The Spartans 1-1, the Eagles 1-1, and my pleasure to have a special guest in the booth for tonight's big game. We've had Todd Mellis for games 1 and 2. Game 3, we bring him on in. Jason Puckett from pucksports.com. Correct me, Puckett, if I'm wrong, but Jason Puckett, a legend in Seattle when it comes to sports broadcasting, has been calling high school sports games for several years. Several decades, Puckett. My apologies to you there, but here we go.
Me that much.
Yeah, welcome to the booth tonight, my friend.
This is great, Chris. You and I both have just a love affair with high school athletics and high school football, and there's just no better evening right now. The weather's perfect. The crowd is great. Issaquah and Skyline. This is a great rivalry, and I'm just happy to be here. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, Issaquah will have the ball first, and we talk about the rivalry puck between these two teams. It's called the Cole Bucket Trophy. It started, back in 1997 when Issaquah became a school, and they took a lot of students. Skyline took a lot of students from Issaquah High, so that's why it kind of became a rivalry. Looks like they're going to redo the kick here. But started in 1997, Issaquah won the first one, but ever since then it's kind of been Skyline's trophy. They're 25-5 in this rivalry game. Issaquah hasn't won it since 2019, and that was a 12-11 defensive battle. But Issaquah, 22 seniors on this team. Jason Puckett, coach thinks maybe this is the year. Coach Joshua Brookshire, his 6th year at Issaquah, he thinks this is the year they take the trophy back. All right, Issaquah, little misplay on the kickoff, and that's Skyline in the white tops, white bottoms. Issaquah with the black tops, bottoms, and gold numbers.
It's always, in these rivalry games, and when one school has dominated it so much, right? It's like it's always the emotional battle. Because if you're Issaquah and looking at this losing streak that you've been on, you're wondering, can we come out too amped up for a game like this, right? And for Skyline, it's like, we've been here. We're used to this winning. So I always it's like the first quarter, it's a feeling out part of the game. And then how much of emotion will Issaquah let them carry them, or, could be a hindrance as well.
And when you talk about emotion, Puck, I'm looking down in front of me here, and the place is absolutely packed. There isn't an empty seat on the Issaquah side, and Skyline's going to run the ball, and not much going right there for Skyline. That's number 11, Siler Jones, with the carry, just a couple of yards. How about this? The offensive coordinator now for the Skyline Spartans, a young man by the name of Kaysen Williams. Kaysen Williams, a former Skyline standout in football and track, went to the University of Washington, went on and played for the Seattle Seahawks. Now an offensive coordinator for Skyline, and his buddy Peyton Pallure, former Coug great, is the head coach over there.
It's really cool when you have these guys that were greats at the high school. They get to come back and give back to the high school or to the school that they had so much success with. And it's great to see Peyton give back to his high school. It's awesome.
Ben Odom in the shotgun. He's going to fake the handoff. Odom lets it fly, hooks up with, that's number 17, Corbin Hundrup, who makes the catch, picks up a couple yards. Casey and Williams spoke with him, Jason, before the game. He says, we only ran the ball 5 times in our last game. They lost that game to Tahoma 47-35. He says his running backs were kind of upset with him. He said, okay, you're going to get more touches tonight against Issaquah.
Well, Peyton Ballert coming from Mike Leach, the air raid. He spent some time with him there, spent some time with him when he went to Mississippi State. He's used to never running the football.
He likes
Just
to throw
air it
the
out
ball
all the time.
Well, we got a big one right out of the gates. 3rd and 3, opening drive for Skyline coming out, and they're visiting Whites. Ben Odom at the quarterback. He's going to go to the air. He's got plenty of time, but all of a sudden that pocket collapses, and number 91 in on the tackle. That's Gabriel Danicek Gonzalez, the big man, bringing him down.
It was just, it really was good protection there by the Skyline offensive line. He just didn't have everybody open downfield, and eventually, if he would have maybe stepped up in the pocket, he would have had some room to throw the football. That was a great opening series there for Issaquah. They're going to get the ball. Look at this. They're going to get the ball their side of the field. On the side of Skyline's field. Great field position to start this game.
Gabriel Danicek Gonzalez, one of the leaders on that D-line for Issaquah. Skyline punting on their opening series. They're going to let that go. It's going to be down probably around the 42-yard line. But still some great field position there, Jason, for Issaquah.
Great field position. If you are Issaquah and you're trying to snap right this losing streak, you want to get off to a great start. They get a 3-and-out. They get great field position. They go down and score. Now all of a sudden this crowd, which is just, it's jam-packed. They got eagle sounds in the background. Well, it's unbelievable.
The question is, are those real eagles flying above? Because
I don't know.
I feel like we're right out in the middle of, this is just a gorgeous setting if you've never been to Issaquah High before.
It's one of the finest American cities we have, Chris Egan.
Well, and we'll get into the Cole Bucket Trophy in a second and give you a little of the history here. First down and 10, Issaquah's first drive of the day. They're 1-1 coming off a tough loss to Olympia, 16-15, but they also beat Tahoma. Number 21, that's Angelo Mashaki. And I was told by the coaching staff at Issaquah, Chris, expect to say the name Angelo Mashaki a lot. He is a running back that they love to take down the middle all day long.
Boy, and you love that. What does he get almost 7 yards on the very first carry? That's the way you start the drive there for the Eagles. Beautiful.
Yeah, 2nd down and 4. They're going to hand it off to Mashaki. And I think did he get enough pucket for the first down?
Pretty close. I think he's going to have enough. It was interesting. The little known fact with it, well, not a fact, but a little factoid. He wants to take care of his offensive linemen so much, so he takes the offensive linemen to his house every week now and feeds them.
Seriously.
Can you imagine how much food? How much food you got to go buy at Costco to feed an offensive line?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I spoke to a couple moms from the UW that say they spend a couple thousand on their kids and their offensive linemen, and they're going to lose a couple yards on that one. The Cole Bucket Trophy.
Yes.
A couple people asking me, how did this come about? Well, we love to educate on the big game. Former Issaquah coach Buddy Bland came up with the trophy. He actually found the bucket in school storage. The bucket symbolizes the history of coal mining, which Jason Puckett was actually a cornerstone of Issaquah's history from the 1880s to the 1930s.
They got everything.
Yeah.
They got the salmon days, the coal buckets. It's the home of the Moors. What do they not have here?
Well, they no longer have Triple X Burger.
Yeah, that's true.
Sad that we lost Triple X. All right, 2nd down. Issaquah keeping it on the ground, and why not? They've been having some pretty good success. Pickup of a few yards, but that's going to bring up a 3rd down and long. And will we see Alexander Kirkpatrick go to the air?
Well, this is going to be a time to do it, right? You got 3rd and long. You got to at least get close enough. I would assume there'd be 4-down territory for them, especially if they get down about the 40-yard line.
3rd down and 8 for Issaquah. The Cole Bucket Trophy, and there's some flags on the field. Hopefully we won't see anything like we saw last week in that Bellevue Lake Stevens game. 29 penalties in that game, Jason.
Let me ask you, in the coal bucket, is there actual coal in the bucket? They have real coal, or that's not probably not appropriate.
I don't think there's real coal. No.
They don't have it.
I don't. Well, I'll have to talk with the ADs.
Well.
Both have been absolutely amazing here. But 3rd down and 13 for Issaquah. Penalties getting them in some early trouble. Maybe some kids just pretty excited being here. Place is packed and looking over to the sidelines, looking to the coaching staff. Alexander Kirkpatrick, backup quarterback, Tyler Kirkpatrick. Throw is complete. That's a first down. That's number 3 with the catch there.
A great block by Grant Fitzgerald. I mean, wide receivers, there's no wide receiver that likes to block, Chris. You were probably a wide receiver back in your day. I don't think you liked to block.
I did not like to block.
No one likes to block.
No.
But he went out there, and that's the reason they get that first down is because of Grant Fitzgerald. That's the reason they got it, because he said, you know what, I'm going to go make a block, and he did.
He got the block. They got the first down. Was that Chase Hansen on the catch for Issaquah? I think that was. The senior, Chase Hansen. We've mentioned over 20 seniors on this Issaquah team. You're watching the King 5 big game coming to you from Gary Moore Stadium, Issaquah High. Beautiful Friday night. Stands are packed on both sides. Handoff. Angelo Mashaki. And Angelo Mashaki is just picking up some yardage. If you play high school fantasy football, I don't think a lot of people do. Angelo Mashaki, he's a pretty good pickup, Puckett.
You pick him up on your waiver wire, Chris, yes. I mean, I think, really, it does hit rock bottom if we're doing fantasy football for high school, but, you never know. But he's not a big guy, but, God, he just keeps his legs going, and he's falling forward every time. Now they're splitting him outside to the far left.
2nd and 4, Kirkpatrick with the throw, and it's Mashaki with the catch, so he's definitely a big part of this offense. You mentioned they bring him in. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and probably less than a yard. I would expect to see a little bit of Mashaki right up the middle here.
Yeah, what are the odds that he doesn't get the ball? And, I mean, not if he's going to get the ball, like he's going to get it. I think it would shock everybody if he does not touch it here.
Number 21, Angelo Mashaki, a big part of this Issaquah Eagles offense early on. And he does not get it, and they do not get the first down. Handoff to Jordan Trice. And that's going to bring up an interesting decision for the Eagles because that's going to make it, I believe, about 4th down and 3.
Yeah, you got to go for it right here. I mean, sometimes, you want to give him a little bit of a breather, but, I mean, he's young. You just keep feeding him and feeding him and feeding him.
So it looks like the Eagles will go for it. 4th down and 3. The Issaquah student body has not sat down on their feet. It's a blackout here tonight. Skyline in their road whites. Big play call here. Alexander Kirkpatrick going to let it fly. A little high and incomplete. He was looking for Chase Hansen. Throw was a little high. And that's going to be Skyline football. Jason, I got to tell you, it comes down to that 3rd down play when Mashaki didn't get the carry.
Yeah, I just think, you know what, we all get a little too cute sometimes, and I just think that he's averaging probably 6 or 7 yards a carry. They don't give him the ball on that 3rd down short, maybe throw him off a little bit, let Trice have a touch at it. But sometimes just keep feeding him and feeding him until he taps his helmet. I got to come out. Just keep giving him the ball.
Well, big decisions early. They went for it on 4th down. Throw was high, so Skyline will take over their 2nd drive of the night. Issaquah defense well rested. They should be fine. They had a great opening series. Skyline going to run the ball. On the carry, number 23, that's Colin Champ.
Handoff to number 23, Colin Champ.
We mentioned Peyton Pallure. He told me, Jason, this is the first time he's been back on this field since he played for Skyline. Obviously, Peyton was part of some of those great Skyline teams, state championships, and 7 state titles over the years. Steve Jervis, one of the best in the business, put together some just incredible teams. 7 state titles, 3 second places, so they were in 10 state championship games since 2004. Absolutely amazing what the Spartans have done over the years. And this coaching staff has 9 Skyline alumni on the squad. That's Bupe Chingaga with the catch. Bupe picks up the first down.
It's a nice quick release there by Odom. Yeah, and with Peyton, you're talking about a guy who was, a two-time state champ. He was a three-time All-State linebacker. Of course, he goes on to Washington State. He's on, the top 5 career list of tackles. He was a 4-time captain. Think about that for a second. He was a captain of the school or of the football team 4 times. I mean, that's unheard of.
4th generation Washington State Cougar. His grandpa Carl Gustafson, great-grandpa Carl Gustafson played. His grandpa Arnie played for the Cougs. His dad Scott played for the Cougs. And is that Uncle Steve, the quarterback for the UW, Jason?
Yeah. Nice divided household. How was that Thanksgiving?
Well,
Steve and Scott are coming home.
Now, it was interesting. Casey Williams told me last year he was a little more relaxed, Peyton, when the Apple Cup was going on. He actually came out to Skyline's practice wearing all of his Cougar gear and had his helmet on. Well, Skyline lost a tough game to Homa, so we didn't see any of that this week over at Skyline. A nice little throw there, nice little catch. That's Siler Jones who picks up the first down, and Ben Odom is letting it fly right now for the Spartans.
He got a nice release. I mean, he hits that back foot and he goes. I mean, this is a great answer here for Skyline. After they didn't do anything on that first drive, then they did a great job defensively of holding Issaquah. Now they got the ball right back and marching here inside the 30-yard line for the Eagles. A great response here for Skyline.
Yeah, and a little bit of Colin Champ, Bupe, and Siler Jones, and all of a sudden, Skyler is nearing the red zone. Odom. He's got plenty of time. Odom's going to keep it. Odom's going to run. Odom is brought down by Brody MacArthur and picks up probably maybe 2 yards on the play there.
Doing a nice job of trying to run away from Dorr. The edge rusher there for Issaquah. Young man's committed to Oregon State, but even the passes, they're getting him out so quickly. They're not allowing him to come off the edge, number 8, to make any damage on Odom.
3:03 to play, first quarter, no score. Skyline in their road whites with the ball, moving the chains. Second down and 10. Odom didn't get anything on that carry. More than likely, we'll see him go to the air. Their trips to the right. Casey Williams, the OC, likes to throw, but they're running here. That's Corbin Humdrup with the carry, and Corbin Humdrup may have himself a first down. I think trips to the right had everybody thinking pass. They went with the run, and good play call there from Skyline.
Yeah, you spread him out, and I think it was Sharp in there, number 11, had him. He had him dead to rights in the backfield, just couldn't wrap up that open field tackle. But nice play calling there by Skyline. Spread him out and then run right up the middle.
All right, first down and 10. Skyline in the red zone. Ball on the 16. Odom moving the chains. They all look to the sidelines, looking at Casey Williams, looking at Peyton Pallure. Comes under center. Corbin Humdrup right next to Odom. Going to go to the air. Catch is made. I believe that's Bupe over there with the catch for Skyline.
Nice job by Hansen over there, was covering him and just almost had it. He was probably a second away from picking that off and taking it to the house, but nice sure tackle over there.
Picked up about 6 yards on the play, brings up a second down and 4. Ball around the 10-yard line.
At what point are you going to morph into Keith Jackson? Do we have to wait? Does it have to be a really big moment?
It's usually,
do you do it consciously or subconsciously does it happen? Because we're all waiting for it.
You know what? I'm already getting texts. Can Puckett and Egan get their own side camera? We're working on that.
We
Puckett
should get a side camera.
All right, handoff made. That's Corbin Humdrup with another carry, and he's close to the first down. I think he's going to be about a yard short of it, though.
Yeah, that's good first down carry, or the second down carry. Yeah, he's going to be third and short. Good hard running. The backs for Skyline aren't that big, but they're shifty, and they make that first guy miss coming in the backfield. And they again go forward and get some positive yards. It's a great drive here by Skyline.
Taking some time off the clock. Only 50 seconds left in the first quarter.
Flying by.
Game is moving.
I
said that last week, Puck, and the next thing you know, there's 29 penalty flags.
I don't want to root for Skyline, but I do want a big play for Issaquah so I can hear the Eagle again.
You want to hear that Eagle.
Yeah,
handoff is made. That's Corbin again, and Corbin's got himself a first down, and Corbin Humdrup getting a lot of carries on this drive.
It'd be interesting, how we talked earlier about how Peyton Pallure had worked under Mike Leach and the air raid and all that, and they run, very kind of a similar offense to a degree. Is like, did he learn anything from being coached under him, like when they get in the red zone, should we run the football a little bit more rather than let's throw it on every play and not pick up a touchdown? I'm a little bitter sometimes.
Yeah, I know you are. It's Big Apple Cup week.
Oh, we don't have to talk about that, Chris.
All right, Odom's going to hand it off. That's Colin Champ, and I think Champ's in there for your first touchdown of the night. The Skyline student body going crazy. The cheerleaders are on their feet, and he is in there, Jason Puckett, for a touchdown. Colin Champ with the touchdown, 6-0 Skyline.
Just a great drive. It was a methodical drive. They mixed in some great runs, some great passes. I think they kept them off balance. They got the ball out quick, and that's a way to respond. I mean, had Issaquah gone down and scored on that opening kickoff, they've taken a little bit of the momentum out of it here and the juice from Issaquah.
Big game Louie on our camera work, just doing a phenomenal job. We only put Emmy Award-winning photographers.
Now, what's the story? Can we get the story behind Big Game Louie, or is it just because it's the big game of the week?
Whatever the photographers do. Oh, they're going for two here. And intercepted. And that's just going to be.
Can't return it.
Yeah, can't return it. Some fans in the stands saying, "Go, go!"
Well, I would still go if I were him. I'd keep running all the way down just to make sure that that you couldn't do it. But it was a great interception there by Fitzgerald. But again, that was a great drive. Great drive by Skyline to march all the way down there against Issaquah.
Well, let's set the scene. Only 7 seconds to go in the first quarter. Skyline leads at 6-0. They've had two drives. Issaquah on their opening drive went for it on fourth down. They had 3rd and 1, Jason. We're getting a little selfie time here. 3rd and 1, couldn't get the first down.
I usually get paid for those selfies, so sir.
And the voice you're hearing is the voice of Jason Puck. And Jason, tell everybody where they can find you. For some reason, they're not listening to you or watching you.
Well, thank you, Chris. I never thought you were going to ask.
It took a full quarter, didn't it?
I was waiting. I was promised 5 minutes into the game we would do the pitch. Every day, Monday through Friday, Puck Sports, pucksports.com, the Daily Punch Up. You can find it up on YouTube, Puck Sports. You can also find it on every one of the podcast platforms. You're required to say your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, whatever you choose. But every day, Monday through Friday, we start at 10 a.m. You grace the show every Friday, so it's a blast having you on.
And I want to get into more of your guests coming up. Issaquah on the kickoff. I also want to take time to mention Phillips Law Firm. The big game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. Phillips Law Firm is a big part of this big game, and we're so happy to be here every Friday night streaming on King 5 Plus. And you mentioned guests. I mean, your guest list is you got Ryan Divish on there, Jim Moore, the go-to guy. You never know where he's going to go. Throw a couple other names out.
He was in a bathroom today, so that was a first for us. Jim Duquette, MLB Network Radio, John Canzano, johncanzano.com, Bob Condota, Seattle Times, Brad Adam of Root Sports. We just have a long list of guests, and I'm missing about 15 of them. Yours truly, Chris Egan, you're on there every Friday, so it's a blast, and we're having a lot of fun doing it.
And the last play, that should be the last play of the first quarter, incomplete pass. Alexander Kirkpatrick on the throw. So that will do it here at the end of one. A lot of football to be played. Jason Puckett, Chris Egan, and the King 5 crew coming to you from the Phillips Law Firm King 5 big game of the week. At the end of the first quarter, it's Skyline 6, Issaquah nothing. We'll be back for the second quarter.
The big game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the King 5 big game of the week. Chris Egan along with Jason Puckett. Issaquah High taking on Skyline, an old rivalry. Well, maybe not that old. They've been playing since 1997, but it's 2025. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of
football.
football.
A lot of years for a lot of people. But it's great. I mean, they're so close to one another. And it's just a great night for high school football. And you know what? I'm so glad that you guys, King 5, has decided to do this. This has been something that has been missing from, television, radio coverage of high school sports. It's just great, because it's important to a lot of people, and it should be celebrated and should be promoted, and you do a great job of that. There's countless others that do a great job, Chris, but kudos to everybody involved, yourself and King 5 for doing this.
And there's a lot of great coverage out there, north, south, east, west. You've always been so pro high school. You've called high school games, the state championship football games. You've called the basketball games at the Tacoma Dome, and you got so many people out there that care. I just think we need to give more to the high schools because there's a lot going on out there, a lot of bad, and we see a lot about that. We don't hear a lot of the good. And you could just look down on this field, and I can look over the Skyline side. You have a Skyline, Coach Kim over there at Skyline. I mean, this is just a little-known fact. She has 33 state titles. 33 state titles. She's devoted basically her life to cheer coaching. She's been at Kentwood, now at Skyline. What she's done is an amazing story. Wow. You talk about these. You have 9 Skyline alumni coming back to coach for Skyline High School. I mean, you have Joshua Brookshire, who's just done an amazing job at Issaquah. He's been the coach here for 6 years. Jordan Halstead, the athletic director for Issaquah. I can't give him enough credit, Jason, because we've asked, to the big game, and it's whatever you need, Egan. How can we help you? Right. He's out there with the students in the tailgate party before the game. He's getting the cheerleaders together, the band together. I mean,
there was a tailgate party?
There was a tailgate party.
You didn't tell me that. It would have been earlier for the tailgate party.
High school tailgate parties are a little different. We had Costco pizza and hot dogs.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Costco hot dogs?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, Chris.
The best deal in America.
Oh, my Lord.
I wanted at my daughter's wedding, as you know, to have Costco hot dogs.
And I thought that was a fabulous idea.
$1.50, you get a hot dog and a Coke.
There's no greater deal in America than that.
Yeah. All right, 3rd down and 16 after a couple penalties. Issaquah's kind of hurting themselves with some flags. Alexander Kirkpatrick's going to have to go to the air here. They're going to have to make something happen. Not a great drive right here for the Eagles. A little dump-off pass there to Mashaki. And not much going there. That's Mason Foreman on the tackle for the Spartans, and that's going to bring up a 4th down, and the punting unit coming out for Issaquah.
Yeah, it's tough. When the penalty, you get behind the chains. You're not really pushing or stretching the ball deep downfield. You had to get all the way to the 38, so a little dump-off pass there, get a few yards, get a little breathing room, let your punter relax back there and try to get a good punt away, but yeah, that's just a tough one. It all started on 1st and 2nd down. When you don't do damage on those downs, you're set there in 3rd and long.
What you don't want to happen is happening right here, Jason Puck. And I'm going to tell you, they got a nice home bounce right there on the punt. It's a great bounce all the way down the 20-yard line. But as somebody that's covered high school sports for 25 years, what you don't want to do is look into the stands and see the kids all of a sudden looking at their phones, looking at their Instagram and their TikToks. You want the phones away because you want them into the game. Right now, the Issaquah crowd getting a little, they need to get them back into the game. They need to get that eagle soaring.
That was a great punt by Tyler Kirkpatrick.
But look at this crowd. Big game Louis. I mean, look at this. This is not Texas, ladies and gentlemen. This is the great state of Washington. That is absolutely awesome. I mean, that gives me goosebumps when you look at it. And this is also, you got the Bananas playing at T-Mobile. You got the Mariners playing. And they are packed to the rafters tonight.
It was cool driving in. You saw a bunch of families and kids all walking into the game together. People out in their cars, tailgating a little bit before. It felt like a college game, almost an NFL like.
All right, here we go. 1st down and 10 for Skyline. And that's Odom with the throw.
They're just eating them up on 1st down. I mean, 1st down has been a huge down here for Skyline. It's like most everything is pretty positive.
Ari Gibbons on the catch there. Ari Gibbons starts on defense for Skyline. You don't see him a lot on offense, but he's out there making plays. And I'll tell you what Cason Williams is doing is he's spreading the wealth out there. You got 6 or 7 guys with receptions right now for Skyline.
Yeah, balance. They're moving it around. They just haven't been predictable on offense.
Corbin Hundrup with the carry. Not much going there. I don't think he got anything. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and 1. Great defensive play there from Issaquah.
I think it was Ben Bobbin. He came up there and made that tackle. He slipped a little bit, which caused him, to kind of lose his momentum. But it's a nice stand there for Issaquah. Brings up a very pivotal 3rd down. You hold him here. You force him to punt. You withstand a little of that Skyline momentum here.
All right. Issaquah student body on their feet. Cheerleaders trying to fire up the crowd. 3rd down and 1. 2nd quarter. Skyline leads it 6-0. 8:46 and change on the clock. Big defensive play right here for Issaquah, trying to get momentum back on their side. Odom with the handoff, and we got something. Looks like maybe a little movement on Skyline. We'll wait and see, though. And sure enough, false start. Spartans.
It's a tough one. You break the huddle fast. You go up there, and then and this a lot of programs do this. You start looking to the sideline. You're changing the play. Meanwhile, your big offensive lineman's up there holding down their stance, waiting and waiting and waiting. It's hard, and sometimes you break the huddle, call the play, and go.
3rd down and 6 for Skyline. Issaquah trying to get a defensive stance here. Odom's going to let it fly deep. And that is a great catch there by Bupe. And hopefully we're saying his name right, Jason Puckett. Otherwise, we're going to figure this out at halftime and make sure we're saying that right. But
just remember, Chris Egan doing play-by-play. At Chris Egan 5. Yeah, actually it was good coverage out there.
3rd catch of the day for number 3.
Jake Staples was there to make a play. It was a beautiful ball by Ben Odom. I mean, he throws a really, really nice ball. I mean, he's a sophomore, Chris. It's a beautiful throw there.
I'm actually texting my friends at Skyline just to get a proper pronunciation for Bupe. I mean, you don't see this on Monday Night Football, Jason.
No, your friends reply back. Maybe, Chris, you should have done that before the game.
And Corbin Hundrup with a nice carry right there. Picks up about 8 to 9 yards, and once again, a great play on 1st down for the Spartans.
First, they again, average. They're well over 5-6 yards a play there on 1st down. But, man, I've just been really impressed with Ben Odom. I mean, he looks the part. When you look, where's number 10? He just looks like a quarterback. And you're like, well, thanks, Tips. He's playing quarterback. Yes, I know, but he looks really, really good.
And what's even more impressive is I look at the Skyline roster, Ben Odom is only a sophomore on this Skyline team. So, yeah, he looks very sharp out there. Takes the low snap. And a little pushing and shoving going on now out there.
It's a rivalry game, Chris. There isn't a little bit of, that. It's not a rivalry.
Yeah. 55, big old check Stalipi. He said, I'm not going to have any of that tonight. 5-yard penalty, though. And that brings up one of my favorite cheers from the high school ranks. You can't do that. I would like to see that, if somebody's in a grocery store and they're stealing something, just a big crowd. You can't do that.
That and the overrated, yes.
Yeah,
Overrated's a good one.
Oh, Friday night in Issaquah, Gary Moore Stadium. Jason Puckett, Chris Egan, big game of the week coming to you on King 5+. Ben Odom in the shotgun. Ben Odom hands it off, then Corbin Hundrup with another carry.
Boy, they run these backs for Skyline. Hundrup and Champ, they run. They look for physicality. They look for contact. And again, they're not the biggest guys in the world, but they don't shy away from it.
You can see no seats in the stands as people are lined up on the fence posts all across Gary Moore Stadium. Look at that. What a view. I mean, they're 2 to 3 deep in the end zone. Hottest ticket in Issaquah tonight. It's not Salmon Days. It's the Cole Bucket Trophy game.
I do love some Salmon Days. One of the all-time traditions.
Coming to you
not to be outdone by Kent Cornucopia Days, which I love that.
Love Kent Cornucopia Days. Coming to you the shadow of Tiger Mountain. Ben Odom, 2nd quarter, 1st and 10. Another low snap. No problem for Ben. He lets it fly. And that, I believe, was intercepted. Big interception there. Number 5 on the interception.
Now there's Jace Padgett on the coverage there, and you know what? The receiver had a step. We've been praising Odom, and he just underthrew it. He didn't hit it right away. The snap was a little low, probably threw him off a tad because the receiver had him beat. Poupe had a step on him, but just a little underthrown. There's the eagle, Chris. Do we have a mic on the eagle?
You can hear the eagle soaring.
Hey, next time we're back here, what we need to do is just put a lavalier mic on the eagle.
Well, I'll tell you this. Phones are away in the student body section. They're on their feet, and they're ready to rock here. The Issaquah students fired up. Handoff, good little carry there.
Can't stress enough what a great defensive play that is for Issaquah. I mean, again, Skyline is moving the ball at will. If they're able to go down in there, punch a score, and all of a sudden now it's 14-0. Great job. Great job defensively there by the Eagles.
One of the greatest Skyline-Issaquah battles of all time. Jason Puckett, I don't know if you remember it, but it was 2008. They played each other for the state championship.
Sure.
Nice carry right there. That's a first down and some change. And that is Mashaki with the first down run. 2008, Skyline Issaquah faced off in the state championship game. Skyline won the title there, but that was just
there's
a great showdown.
Well, just so many great teams you mentioned. You mentioned Casey Williams and Max Brown and Jake Heaps and just the job that they did up there and sustained success for so many years. It really was one of the pillars of high school football programs here on the west side.
And you know the little history, Jason, about that Skyline program led by Steve Jervis, who some would say was one of the greatest basketball players to ever come out of Puyallup High School.
More so than you.
Yes. He actually scored points.
I find that hard to believe.
he was.
I'm surprised we haven't talked about your high school career yet. I mean, we're still in the first half, I guess.
Yes, we'll talk more about pucksports.com. Austin Schultz with the catch right there. He's had a couple receptions, and the Eagles are flying over Gary Moore Stadium here on a beautiful Friday night. 5:01 to play, first quarter. Skyline has the lead, but here comes the Eagles, and here comes Angelo Mashaki.
You got to give some love to the big guys up front. Samuel Wilkes just with a terrific block there for Mashaki to pick up that good 7-8 yards on that carry. Just a tremendous block.
I chatted with Michael Pack's dad before the game, big old number 70, Kinko, all first team last year. Good little offensive lineman for the Eagles, 4-year starter on this team. Michael Pack, they've got a big offensive line. As I mentioned, 20-plus seniors, so they want to end the drought, Jason. They want to end the drought. 2019, the last time that Issaquah beat Skyline.
They just are so, they're not separated for that many miles. They've played a lot of Little League together, so they've grown up with these guys. They don't want to hear it in the offseason so much of how much Skyline has dominated the series.
3rd down and 1. Going to the air, and once again a little high. Looking for Austin Schilt. Alexander Kirkpatrick's throw. I got to believe they're going to go for it here, Jason.
Well, they're coming off. They're bringing his brother on, Tyler Kirkpatrick, who had a tremendous punt. Now, I don't know if that here at 4th and call it a yard, if they're going to punt it again, or maybe Tyler Kirkpatrick is more of the physical runner. Maybe they'll let him go with it, but he definitely looks like he's lined up to pooch this one away again. Skyline does not have a man deep.
I think Skyline's prepared for a fake, and he is going to punt it away. It's a younger brother. Good little punt.
I'm surprised by that decision. It's 4th and not much. You have a bulldozer for a running back, but
you know
now you can pin him deep.
I think Joshua Brookshire's saying, it's only 6-0. Our defense is doing pretty good. Let's make this a field possession game. Let's put them down there. But they got to come up with a stop here on first down because Skyline's been running all over them on first down.
Chris, we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't second guess. This is what we do. We're professional second guessers.
You
know what I would do. I mean, it's easy to do it. It's easy to make decisions up here.
If I was Howard Stanton, I would get a third baseman or first baseman.
I mean, come on.
Oh, man. What a time of year. What a time of year. Mariners making a playoff run. College football in full swing. High school football in full swing. Seattle Seahawks welcome the Saints to town.
The fair is wrapping up.
Washington State Fair. Handoff, Odom. And that's Corbin Hundrup with another carry. Pretty hard to believe that this Skyline team only ran the ball 5 times against Tahoma, and they've already, I think they're up to 8 carries now already.
They're showing a lot of balance, and you know what? That was one of the few times, Chris, that they've run to Adele Door's side. We mentioned it before. I mean, he's one of those guys. He gets off the bus. He just looks different than the other kids. He's committed to Oregon State. Defensive MVP in Kinko last year, first team all defensive lineman, but they haven't really run his way.
He's got some quick feet there, and in trouble is Odom. He lets it fly to the sidelines. And there was some pressure there.
That was a good decision to get it away. Just didn't have his first read. He wanted to do it a quick slant over the middle, then got flushed out, but yeah, they're trying. Even if he pass plays or anything, they roll him out. They're just trying to stay away from Door's side.
There's the Issaquah High students saying hi to the crowd, saying hi to the camera. Big game Louie. We got big game Gabe on the sidelines down there as well.
Let's go, Gabe.
The big game sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. King 5 Sports, King 5 TV, the only place you're going to find high school football on the TV dial. Looks like we're going to have a timeout here, Jason Puckett, with 2:53 to go. And back to this, I'm not trying to toot King 5's horn. What I'm trying to do is get everybody else to take some time and showcase, the positivity of the world going out there. And there's a lot of good stuff going on at these high schools. There's great stories. There's kids doing good things. And so many times we just focus on something's gone bad at a high school.
Well, right. I mean,
and I get it. The news has to do their job. But all I'm asking is that, there's a lot of positivity out there, too.
Well,
so let's show that.
There's a lot of, there's a huge difference in high school sports compared to professional sports. College athletics are becoming more pro than they've ever become, right? So the kind of the last pure form of sports we have is high school. You and I both in this business, you TV, me radio. I mean, my first job was covering a cluster of small schools in Southwest Washington. Driving, setting up equipment by myself and all that. I fell in love with it and still in love with it today. It's the best. Friday night football is one of the best traditions we have.
And I can't count. The stadium is packed. There's 3,000 to 4,000 here tonight. I've been told that there's 6,000 to 7,000 at Sunset Chevrolet Stadium in Sumner tonight for their game. And the week, oh my, good pressure there. Number 1 for Issaquah, Austin Schilt, doing a little bit of everything tonight for the Eagles.
Yeah, that really what set that up, Chris, was just the coverage downfield. Odom had just nowhere to go with the football. He's pressured out, to his left, and then just good coverage down. A great job by Schilt to come in there and make the play.
Well,
good stance, 4th down. And so now this is why we're up here.
Yeah.
And we're not coaches.
Well, and this is
because it worked out.
Joshua Brookshire could have our broadcast in his eye, and he's probably right now saying, "You tell Puckett I punted the ball because I knew our defense was going to hold."
Again, this is why I would never coach.
We coach U Sports.
U Sports is about that's my pay grade. But a great decision there. They certainly made some adjustments defensively. Kind of held the Skyline. Well, obviously held Skyline on that possession. They're going to punt it away, and they're going to get the plus territory here. They're going to get the ball.
They're going to get
40-yard line, maybe closer.
Great field position.
The punter is way back on the end line.
And I believe back to receive is Mr. Do Everything right now, Austin Schilt for Issaquah, the senior. And he's going to pick that up around. He's going to get a fair grabber on the 28-yard line. So, and it's my apologies there. That was actually Chase Hansen. Sometimes the gold lettering on the Friday Night Lights was actually number 3, Chase Hansen on the fair catch there.
Well, you could admit your age and give into your age at some point and get the readers like I have, Chris. It's okay.
I've got a bag of readers over here.
It's okay. You just give in.
Yeah, just put them on. I don't want to wear them, but it's funny when you put on your reader glasses, you're like, oh my gosh, I can see what that says.
Just accept our fate, Chris. Yeah. That's what it's all about, accepting our fate.
2:30 to play, second quarter. Good little defensive showdown here. 6-0 Skyline. The Cole Bucket Trophy up for grabs tonight. Issaquah trying to bring it back home. Alexander Kirkpatrick's going to hand it off. Mashaki, left side. Mashaki with a great run right there. Took about 3 Spartans to bring him down.
That was a great job of that left side of that line. Wilkes, Baugh, Russi, all doing a great job along that offensive line for Issaquah. He had just a massive hole. It was easy for him to bounce to the outside.
The Eagles are soaring above Gary Moore Stadium. I have a feeling Mashaki's going to see the ball again here. 2:12 to play, second quarter. Skyline's defense bending, but not breaking yet. Alexander Kirkpatrick in the shotgun. He's going to go to the air. He's got his man. Oh, my. Austin Schilt in and out of his hands.
Oh, what a beautiful throw. Great timing there by Kirkpatrick. Had him. And Schilt, he makes that catch 10 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10 he makes that, just off his fingertips.
All right, so second down and 10. It's actually a good play call.
Go back to it.
We'll see. Alexander Kirkpatrick in the shotgun. Angelo Mashaki right next to him to the right. Second and 10. Handoff. Mashaki. Not much going there. A great little tackle from Hunter Hickson.
Oh, the senior linebacker. That is just so difficult to do. An open field tackle, especially on a running back like that. And got him down around the ankles. Just chopped his legs out from underneath him. Just beautiful football right there by Hickson.
All right, so that's going to set up a third down and 10. Are we in 2-down territory? Will they go for a field goal? These are you never know with high schools how the kickers are. Did they get somebody from the soccer team?
It's always a mystery.
You never know.
It's always the soccer player from the team.
All right, third down and 10, 1:16 on the clock. Skyline has the lead. Issaquah trying to get back in this game. Kirkpatrick to the end zone. Touchdown, Issaquah! And Austin Schilt with the TD catch. It was a gorgeous catch. Austin Schilt having himself a night, Jason Puckett. He had the big sack. He had the drop in the end zone. So what do? Well, they go right back to him. He makes a great play.
Yeah, it was just you talk about making up for the touchdown that he just dropped earlier. He runs just a great route to the far corner of the end zone. And that is we haven't seen Kirkpatrick push the ball down the field. That was a beautiful throw. I mean, that's a difficult throw to make from the left hash mark to the far right.
And they're going to go for 2. And the handoff to Kirkpatrick, and he's in. And just like that, Issaquah takes an 8-6 lead here at Gary Moore Stadium. The Eagle students on their feet, and momentum has shifted a little bit. It looks like it was all on the side of the Skyline. That has changed.
Well, and you just go back to what they did. They get the interception in the end zone where it looked like Skyline was going to march right down again, punch another touchdown in. They get the pick, and they march right back down the field, or they punt it away. They make the decision not to go forward on 4th and 1, which we second-guessed up here. Yes. And then it was proved to be the right decision.
I don't know if the word is we more than you.
That's true. It was more of an I. It's more of an I problem. I just wanted to lump you into it in case somebody else comes back.
Joshua Brookshire, rewind the tape if you will. Don't lump me in.
But he the decision to punt it, they get great field position. The defense does their job. And well, I love seeing a kid who knows he should have caught that pass. Yeah. He knows he should have caught it, and he comes back and makes a fabulous grab on a fabulous throw.
And give some credit there to the Issaquah coaches, because obviously they know their players better than we do. Coaches talked it through, obviously, on the headsets up above, down below, said, hey, let's get this ball back to Austin Schilt. And that's what Alexander Kirkpatrick did. Perfect throw, corner pocket, touchdown. With 1:07 left to go in the second quarter, the Issaquah Eagles now lead it 8-6. And you can feel a little energy here on the Issaquah sideline. Students are kind of fired up right now, Jason.
They got to put some more time on the clock. They were letting that clock run down about 5 seconds. They've got time here. Got, what, 2 timeouts? You got about a minute or so probably left if they put more time on it.
I have a feeling, if I know Casey Williams, the offensive coordinator for Skyline, they're not gonna settle here. They're gonna throw a couple.
Yeah, they're going to reset it.
Ben Odom's throwing some
That's
good
a little
balls.
home cooking on the clock, you know. Hey, maybe they won't see it. We'll let it run for a little bit.
I always find it interesting that it's the
Tell Pam to keep letting it run.
It's the first down marker crew. Those are usually hometown crews.
Well, of course. Yeah.
All right, 59 seconds on the clock. Issaquah 8, Skyline 6. Odom throwing. Odom finding his man. Bupe with the catch, his 4th of the night. That combination's happening a lot right now.
Chris, look at that. That took 7 seconds, and they're already at Issaquah's 49-yard line. I mean, it's a quick strike offense, and Odom plants his foot and goes. And with Bupe, I mean, they got a threat over there. Throw him another go ball.
Peyton Pallure, Reggie Long, Gino Simone, Kaysen Williams, all on that coaching staff over there. Odom throwing, and Odom, perfect throw right there. That could be a late hit, too. Siler Jones with the catch. Odom, I am very impressed with his sophomore. Sure, does he have an interception in the end zone? Yes, but this is a sophomore looking like a senior out there.
And, Chris, two plays. They're at the 31. Plenty of time to go. He got, one timeout remaining?
Eagles fans, we've got 32 seconds.
32 seconds on the clock. The PA announcer asking the Eagles fans to get on their feet, to be loud. Odom, first down at 10. Looked just magnificent. Lets it fly deep. Dangerous throw. Looks like he was looking for Owen Alderman. Alderman and Siler Jones both in the neighborhood, but several black jerseys there as well.
I'm telling you, Alderman, he almost came down with that. He was inches away from coming down with that ball. I mean, that was a dangerous pass by Odom. I mean, he kind of threw it up there. But Alderman almost pulled that down.
But Odom's showing you, for a sophomore, this kid's got an arm. He can let it fly.
He's very impressive. And a long line of very, very good quarterbacks that they've had at this high school.
You said it. Jake Heaps, Max Brown, just a couple of the big names. Second down and 10. Odom going deep again. And he was looking for Alderman again.
A real nice coverage there by Chase Hansen, who, I don't know if he banged up his arm or not, but he was right there with him step for step. Never let him get any separation.
We could have some extracurricular activity on the field. That's why I think there may be a flag down there. A couple guys a little trash talking.
What'd you say about Salmon Days? Think that would be the level of it? I probably not.
Thank goodness the score is 6-8, so I don't have to say it the other way, as the youngsters would. Personal foul against the offense. I don't think Peyton Pallure is going to like that.
A backbreaker there, for sure.
17 seconds. That's going to bring up a third and about 20.
You know what you could do here is still attack the middle. Get it down if you can with inside the 30. Spend a timeout, and then take a shot at the end zone, or if you've got the field goal kicker, you set up a field goal. You don't have to necessarily go down the sideline.
Odom looking to the sidelines. Referee's getting everything organized here. It's actually going to be third down and 25. Ball now on the 46-yard line. 17 seconds on the clock. Eagles lead it 8-6. Second quarter, King 5 big game. Jason Puckett, Chris Egan, and the King 5 Sports crew. Odom, shotgun. Little screen play. Dumps it to Corbin Hundrup. Hundrup's got some room. And that's number 2, Grant Fitzgerald, who brings him down.
Not a bad play call. It's at the 35. You're looking at what, a 52? I'm not sure the high school kicker's got that in his range.
Considering both teams have went for 2-point conversions, I think they're probably going for it.
Safe bet. We're not going to put Jimmy out there.
Timeout Skyline. They used their last timeout. 4th down. Jason Puckett, Chris Egan, big game. I can't thank you enough for joining us in the booth. This is fun stuff. Mariners with a 4-0 lead, so good things going on there.
They actually won.
It's a final?
It's a final.
Wow.
1 game up in the West. Now a game up. We're technically tied with Detroit, but tiebreaker, so the lead.
And you get 2 out of 3 in this series against Houston. You get the tiebreaker. They went in both with 5 wins. Mariners now with 6. So good stuff going on there. Now the baseball crowd could just jump over to King 5 Plus and watch the big game of the week.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, Jason. 4th and 14, 8 seconds on the clock. And is Odom out?
They brought in a new quarterback. Maybe he has a better arm in Crew Erickson.
Crew Erickson now in to throw. Crew Erickson across the middle. Throws a little low. He was looking for Owen Alderman, and Alderman can't haul it in.
That'll be an interesting decision there. I mean, we know if Odom got hurt maybe on that last play, got dinged up, but you would thought they brought in a new quarterback.
If we could get Big Game Louie maybe zoom in over on the Skyline sidelines a little bit just to see if we can keep an eye on number 10, Ben Odom, see if he's over there.
Why don't we just put a mic on Big Game Louie? Let's just send him down to the field.
Just checking over there. I'm just surprised because Odom had the arm to throw that into the end zone. He's actually looked pretty good all night long, and I do not see number 10 over there at the moment. There he is. There he is right there. No, that's 13. All right, well, we don't want to guess anything. We'll just kind of – he wasn't in there on that play. And that's Mashaki picking up some more yards, but that will be the end of the second quarter. Jason Puckett, we get a little break, not much though. We got the Issaquah dance team, Issaquah cheerleaders coming up. We've got the top plays of the week coming up. We'll hear from that Skyline Spartans cheerleading squad that has won 33 state championships under Coach Kim. That's coming up, but quick thoughts of the first half.
Great job by Issaquah. They sustained an early storm there from Skyline. Defense played great, and they're doing a great job of seizing back that momentum in that first half.
All right, so there's the score. At the end of 2 quarters, Issaquah leads it 8-6, trying to win their first Cole Bucket Trophy since the year 2019. Coming up, the Issaquah Dance Team and Cheer Squad. We'll be right back.
The Big Game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
team. And give a warm welcome to our Issaquah High School cheer team. So here, one more round of applause for the Issaquah High School cheerleaders.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to the King 5 Big Game of the Week. Brought to you by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. It has been a great first half. A little rivalry battle. Issaquah leads it 8-6, and we're coming off a great weekend of football as well. Last week's big game was Bellevue and Lake Stevens. Lake Stevens rolled into Bellevue, picked up a win. They improved their record to 2-0. With that win over Bellevue. And we had some big plays from that game, and there were some big plays from all around the state. So with that in mind, here they are, the top plays from week number 2. Number 7, O'Day and Rainier Beach. Vikings receiver Sir Jewel Glover gets up and brings the ball over the O'Day defender. 28-yard touchdown. Number 6, Roosevelt, Seattle Prep. Panthers quarterback Leo Harnato does some damage with his arms and his legs, follows up a deep ball touchdown pass with a long touchdown run. Number 5 for the big game, Bellevue and Lake Stevens. The Vikes, Keikoa Okiyama makes a miss, cuts his way in for a touchdown. Number 4, Monroe and Edmonds Woodway. Warriors quarterback George Gizzy with a perfect throw to Cruz Escadin. Ed Wood wins it. Number 3, Kennedy Catholic at Sumner. Israel Neighbors takes it left, and he's not touched by one Lancer. Neighbors is in for 6. Sumner with a shutout. Last week he was number 7. This week he's up to number 2 on the countdown. Federal Ways, Amari Telez zigzags his way through the line and turns on the Jets. 75-yard touchdown for the senior back. That would have been number 1, except, well, yeah, you got to give Monty number 1. O'Day's Monty Kohler wins the 395th game in his 41-year career with the Irish. He becomes the state's all-time winningest coach. Pretty cool. Well, what a run for Monty Kohler. Monty Kohler and O'Day, just expect Coach Monty to pick up more and more wins. I don't see him retiring in the next 5 years. He's just doing a great job with O'Day. Those were our top plays of the week, and the thing we love about the big game of the week gives us a chance to highlight not only the football players but also the cheer staffs and the bands as well. And we talk about cheer staffs. The Skyline cheerleading squad, they won 3 state titles last year. They are not only one of the best cheer squads in the state of Washington, they are one of the best in the nation. Their coach, Coach Kim, she used to be at Kentwood, cheer coach for the Conquerors. She has won 33 state titles during her time as a coach in the state of Washington. Here's a quick peek at that Skyline cheer squad before tonight's game.
I said Spartans, you know! S-H-S, S-S-H-S, S-H-S, S-S-H-S, S-H-S, S-S-H-S, S-H-S, S-S-H-S,
Always fun on a Friday night. The Skyline Spartans cheer squad bringing it. Congratulations to that team. 3 state titles last year. I'm sure they'll be in the hunt for more state title championships this year as well. Your score right now, Issaquah leads it 8-6, trying to bring that Cole Bucket Trophy back home. It's a series that started back in 1997. Skyline currently leads the series 25-5, but everybody only remembers the last game played, and right now Issaquah is trying to take home that Cole Bucket Trophy. We'll see if they can do that. Coming up, the second half. It's looking like it should be a thriller. Jason Puckett from pucksports.com joining us for the entire game tonight, and he'll be rejoining me. Second half highlights, action coming up next. King 5 Plus, the big game, brought to you by Phillips Law Firm. We'll be right back.
I said Spartans, you know! S-H-S, S-S-H-S, S-H-S, S-S-H-S, S-H-S, S-S-H-S, S-H-S, S-S-H-S, S-H-S.
The big game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to Gary Moore Stadium. Chris Egan, Jason Puckett, King 5 big game of the week. Issaquah taking on Skyline. Set the scene for you. Issaquah leads it 8-6. Looked like this was possibly going to be a Skyline rout. Colin Champ had a touchdown, went to 6-0. Skyline gets the ball back after they stop him on 4th down. Skyline moving down. Interception in the end zone. Jace Padgett gets the defensive play of the night so far. He gets the big pick. Issaquah decides not to go for it on a 4th and short. We somewhat question the decision by the Issaquah coaching staff. Ends up being a great decision because they punt the ball down deep, and the defense holds. They get the ball back, and then it's senior Alex Kirkpatrick with a perfect throw to Austin Schilt. Gets the touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion, and Jason Puckett, here we are. 8-6. Issaquah leads it. Nobody's left the building. Place is packed. Friday Night Football.
That's great. It just a very well played first half, especially defensively. Really by both teams, not just Issaquah, but also Skyline. And it was just a fun, competitive first half. And you know what's impressive, Chris, about being here doing this game with you is I have wondered, and we've known each other for many, many years, and I think a lot of the audience knows you. They don't know that maybe the behind the scenes is, why do you win so many Emmys? That's what I ask myself all the time. Well, it's watching you be able to devour cookies during halftime and not 2 minutes before we go on, but 5 seconds before we go on. And it's like watching the Cookie Monster go to town.
Well,
but yet you come back seamlessly.
We have
welcome back.
We have great producers. Now tonight it's Olivia. We had Kip last week, and Olivia's there tonight, and she gives very good time cues. She says 10. She says 5. So I know I've got 5 seconds to get the cookie down.
But this is why in future broadcasts we need Olivia. We need a camera in the booth, just so we can use this for the reel that he puts in for another Emmy. And by the way, speaking of Emmys, how many are we up to now?
There's a lot at home, and behind each Emmy, I'll say this I'm honored that I've been part of some of these Emmys, but there's so many people behind each Emmy. I'll just say that. I've had the pleasure to work with some incredible photographers. We haven't mentioned them, and we're 3 weeks into the big game. The late, great Alan Reed, a photographer that passed away in 2024, was a staple. Every high school in the state knew the name Alan Reed because he cared so much about high school sports. He went to more games, I would argue, than anyone in this state's history. He worked in Spokane, and then he worked in Seattle for over 20 years. And I would argue to this day, as Alan Reed's probably watching from high above Gary Moore Stadium right now, that he cared about these kids, and he wanted to get them on TV. He wanted to show the positivity. There was no other figure in Seattle television history, Jason Puckett. No one. Nobody on air, nobody behind the scenes that had a full-page advertisement in the Seattle Times that was bought by the Mariners, the Seahawks, the Sounders, the Rain, and the Storm, and they honored Alan Reed, saying, we're going to miss you, and that just shows you, and every high school across the state, everywhere I go, they're like, our condolences, Alan, we miss him a lot. And we've been lucky now to get some great photographers. Tate Miller, we got Gabe down on the field, we got Big Game Louie up on the main camera, and we had Big Game Kellen at GK. Mike Perry was working last week. And you got Ryan to my left, engineer extraordinaire. I've been working with Ryan for 25 years.
Why doesn't Ryan get Big Game Ryan?
Well,
why is it just Ryan? It's Ryan the engineer.
It should be Big Game Engineer.
It should be Big Game Engineer.
Yeah. Well, we can't forget Aiden. Big Game Aiden has been a big part of this big game.
Well said about Alan. And I think if you're a high school kid and you saw Alan Reed come to your school to shoot something, you're like, oh, I did something really, really cool. Yeah. I did something really big. And he just had an absolute love for all sports, all of them. And that's what and he was a wonderful photojournalist. He told great stories through his lens.
Yeah, he did. And he's truly missed, but his legacy lives on at King 5 Sports. You got a crew over there, Tony White, Joel Knipp, Paul Sylvie, Ariel Arsudo, a group that's got 200 years of experience in the market. And here we go, Jason Puckett, second half, 8-6. Issaquah is going to receive the ball. What do you want to see from both teams here in the second half?
Well, I just think, for Issaquah, I think continue to run the ball, set up your physicality, and I think for Skyline, continue to be aggressive in the passing game. I mean, that young sophomore quarterback can sling it. So I would say for both teams, don't change anything. They both played a well-played, first half.
That's Trevor Sharp with the return, only getting a couple of yards. And here comes Alex Kirkpatrick. We had a nice visit with his dad at halftime. What can you tell us about? Well, we're no longer calling him Alexander. We're calling him Alex.
I've known Brad Kirkpatrick, and I've known the oldest son, Tyler Kirkpatrick, since he was 6 months old. Tyler Kirkpatrick, they used to live over in Green Lake, used to go to the same German nanny as my daughter, who is a junior at Ballard High School. And we would meet each other. We'd drop our kids off there, and Fraulein Christa would watch them throughout the day and speak German to them all the time. That's how I know the Kirkpatrick family. So to see Alex here, who I've known as well, is surreal. But then to see Tyler, who, maybe one of the last few times I've seen Tyler, as Brad's picking him up, and, as any kid is 6 months old, snot running down his nose, crying for mom and dad, and now here he is playing high school football. So it's kind of a full circle moment. It's very cool.
All right, second down and 11. Alex Kirkpatrick, friends of the Puckets, yes, in the shotgun formation. He's dropping back. He's throwing deep. Looks like a little overthrow, and that could be an interception, and I believe it is. Cooper Oberst with the big defensive play, showing his coaches the ball, and there's the ball. Coach said, "Get me the ball." I said, "Cooper, here's the ball."
It was just a tough throw there, there for Alex. He didn't have anybody open. The guy was covered, multiple defenders over there. But again, what I do like about it, in essence it's a punt, I guess, is that they have not pushed the ball downfield. They really have relied on their running game, but this time they decided to take a shot downfield. Didn't work out for them. But their defense played strong in that first half, so they're going to need another strong performance here in this first drive as they defend Skyline.
All right, so here comes Skyline after the interception. 8-6 your score, and my last shout-out of the night, Puck. Then we'll get back to the full game mode here. Ben Odom in shotgun. He's going to hand it off to Colin Shamp.
If you're not going to give a shout-out to Tony Ventrella, then I'm going to walk.
Well, we can talk Tony V all night long, but in the live truck, and he's been to more big games than anyone, I call him High Step and Hightower. That's Milt the Stilt Hightower in the King 5 live truck. And this is I mentioned Alan Reed knows everywhere. Milt Hightower, you're heading to Aberdeen, he knows where to go. You're heading to Ferndale, he knows where to go. You're heading to PL, he knows where to go. He knows every high school across the great state of Washington. All right, second down and 8 for Odom and the Spartans. Handoff. Shamp to the left side. Shamp picking up some great yardage. It's going to take about 3 Eagles to bring him down, and that was a great run right there by Colin Shamp.
It's too bad there for Issaquah. That was a great run, great change of direction there. But Danicek Gonzalez, he did his job as a defensive end. He made the running back turn back inside where his defense should be to make the tackle, but they weren't there. But he did his job to force the running back inside, and there's a great carry there. And a huge gain and puts them now into Issaquah territory.
Yep, ball on the right around the 49-yard line. First down and 10. Odom, handoff, Shamp. Actually, Odom's going to keep it. Odom's going to shake one tackle, can't shake another one. That's Jack Reed with the tackle for Issaquah.
The first time we've seen Odom keep it on a design run, so he's obviously fine. I mean, he came out in that last series of the first half when they thought they were going to throw it to the end zone, and the backup came in, but he looks fine there on that carry.
All right, second down and about 5 yards, second and 6. Odom in the shotgun. He's got Shamp to the left of him. He's going to hand off to Shamp. Shamp's right up the middle. Plenty of room for Shamp. Shamp has some daylight. Shamp down on the 15-yard line, and Colin Shamp with another great run. Went right up the middle. I believe that was big old Jacob Bodum and the Rainmaker paving the way for Shamp. Don't forget Ryder Rule, number 76, some big bodies for the Spartans.
Yeah, that's just a great play design there by Casey Williams. Just spread them out and you hit them right up the middle as fast as you can.
So that will be a timeout for Issaquah. Defense wants to reset here, and we'll set the tone for you here a little bit. Issaquah with the lead, came out with the ball. They went deep. Alex Kirkpatrick with the throw, and it was an interception by Cooper Oberst. Got the ball back for Skyline, and they've come out running the rock. And between Corbin Hundrup, a quarterback keeper from Ben Odom, and Colin Shamp, they have been putting the ball on the ground. And I think if you watch Skyline football, you think they're going to go to the air 80% of the time. That is not happening tonight.
Well, they've made a real commitment to trying to run the football, but also doing it in an air raid-like way of spreading them out, as much as you possibly can, like they're doing here. I mean, they got 4 wide, 3 to the left, and could be another opportunity where Shamp would get the ball again. But you put so much stress on the defense, you're asking them to cover so much field.
All right, handoff. Not much going there.
Another thing they're doing good too, Chris, is that, they're identifying perhaps where, and we've talked about him, Dorr is on this defensive line and trying to, as much as they can, to run away from him. Dorr even having a conversation right now with the official. Usually when defensive linemen are talking to an official, they're claiming they're being held, but they've done a really nice job on the Oregon State commit tonight.
Yes, they have. Third quarter, 2nd and 6, 8:38 to play. Odom in the shotgun, trying to give his Spartans the lead. Handoff, Shamp. And just when you think Shamp's going to go down, he picks up 2 to 3 more yards. I mean, his yards after contact tonight has been something.
It's very beast mode like. Very beast mode. He falls forward. They both do. They both do a nice job of just, when they get tackled, they don't fall backwards. Dorr had a chance in the backfield to wrap him up, but he just slipped through his fingers.
All right, 3rd down and 2. This is where you got to step up on the Eagles' defense.
Well, again, they've been having a lot of success of spreading them out and just running the football. One of the first times they've had a formation with both backs in the backfield.
Hunter Hickson back there. It's Shamp with the carry. And looks like he got the first down.
It's always the issues, right, with these spread offenses, air raid, whatever you want to call it, is once you get inside the 20, and that window shortens, and what do you got to do? I mean, that's where you got to be able to run the football.
Yeah. And this will be 1st down and goal. Ball on the 6-yard line. He's got Shamp now to the left of him, and he's brought out the senior, his captain, Hunter Hickson, 6'1", 215 pounds, lining up on the right side of Odom. Shamp on the left. Hickson probably blocking the way, leading the charge. Odom's going to go to the air, looking for Hickson. Nobody there. Odom keeps it, and Odom is in. Touchdown, Ben Odom. Great decision right there from the sophomore quarterback. You see some seniors that don't make decisions like that. They were looking to go to the air. He was looking for Hunter Hickson. Hickson was covered, decides to keep it, goes right up the middle. We've not yet got the signal that it's a touchdown. Skyline players are celebrating like we've got the signal, but we haven't seen it yet, Jason.
I think they finally called it. Or are they going to say, no, yeah, I think they finally signaled. I don't know if, when you look back on that one, I wonder if the first read was throw it to Hickson, he's not open, then you take off and run it, because it almost looked like, in an odd way, a design play for him to run.
Yeah. Definitely the big boys in the middle opened up a couple nice runs. It is officially a touchdown for Odom, which the lead now goes to Skyline. The kick is up. The kick is good. So that makes the score 13-8. So with 7:02 to play in the third quarter, Skyline retakes the lead.
You don't see a lot of quarterbacks. I don't what age they are, show that type of physicality on a run. You know, it's a quarterback. They sometimes will shy away from that, but he kind of sought out that contact right there, did Odom. And, you know, we've been talking about him a lot in the first half, and it continues in the second half. He is a very impressive-looking quarterback. I mean, size-wise for a sophomore, I mean, they list him at what, 6'1", 180? You know, you start thinking, well, what he will be as a senior. But, boy, he's just got great command of the offense. Real nice, smooth delivery, quick feet. Just a nice-looking athlete.
Well, we didn't even mention it because at the end of the second quarter, Ben Odom was actually pulled out of the last play. And I think there was a little concern here. I mean, we've seen it. It's high school football. Kids get injured. You're a little concerned. Oh, did he get banged up? Because he definitely had the arm to get in the end zone. But I think the good news, we didn't even mention, he's back in the game looking great. So whatever took him out of that play, it's good news that Ben Odom is back in the game.
You know what? For Issaquah right now, I mean, there's plenty of time left. It's a 5-point game.
Sure.
But you really would like to go down there and see if you can answer this from Skyline. They've taken a little bit of the juice out, right? Fans aren't as engaged as they were in the beginning. I haven't heard the Eagle yet.
Eagle's been quiet.
I want to hear the Eagle.
Eagle has been quiet.
And Skyline needs something. Can we get a sound?
Well, it's
some sound with a Spartan. What does a Spartan make?
Well, they have their own, but it's an away game for the Spartans.
I know, but at least hear it from over there. Can they bring the noisemaker over here? What is it? Is it just a Spartan?
It's like the movie 300 where they go, whoo,
that's not bad.
Something like that.
Well, they could have brought that over. They could have had somebody over there.
What are some of the, as coming from the 253, what are some of the finer eating establishments in the Issaquah area? I mean, you're a man of the north.
That was quite the pivot from the Eagle chant to the eating establishments down here.
I didn't get a whole lot of food in at halftime, unfortunately.
You had some pretzels and then 5 cookies in the matter of 30 seconds.
I only had 1 cookie.
Mel Egan, check his weight when he gets home.
All right. Issaquah trying to get back on track. Alex Kirkpatrick with a great throw. And that's Austin Schilt with the catch. And Austin Schilt's having himself a game. Had a touchdown and a big sack in the first half. Coming through with a nice little reception there.
You know what, Chris, what I like about that there by the coaching staff is Issaquah is they, after that interception, maybe Alex, young quarterback, is only making his 4th start. Maybe a little shell shock to that interception. Get a nice, easy throw, and they did that to Shilton. He's a playmaker. Get the ball in his hands. He picks up 11. Just a great gain there on first down.
All right, first down and 10. Ball on the 20. Yeah, ball's 33-yard line. Kirkpatrick goes back up to the air. And how about this? Austin Schilt and Kirkpatrick. Guten Tag. Having themselves a game.
Again, I don't even know how to follow that up. That was wonderful. That was just, it's a nice, easy throw for Alex. Just get the ball out of his hands quickly and get it into Schilt's hands to make a play.
Well, and I think a lot of people here would be thinking you're going to see a lot of Mashaki. Well, what have they done? They've come out and hit Schilt twice. And Kirkpatrick is throwing a good ball right now. Senior quarterback in the shotgun, and there's the handoff to Angelo Mashaki, and he's running hard. It takes about 5 Skyline Spartans to finally bring him down.
A penalty, though, thrown at the 40. They're going to get a hold. There was a defensive lineman in there for Skyline right away, and offensive lineman just dragged him down so he couldn't make the play. But it's going to come back, but I really like what that Issaquah.
Yeah, Jeff Walker for the Spartans was pointing Issaquah's way the entire time.
But that offensive line, when Mashaki was still keeping his legs going, they all ran down there and pushed the pile. It's a great sign.
I've been impressed from both sides of the running back room. The kids are just running with Mashaki's getting a lot of yards after contact. Colin Champ and Corbin Hundrup have been running tough for the Spartans. All right, first down and 20 after the holding call. Handoff, Angelo Mashaki takes to the right side. Not much there for him.
Caleb McBride, one of the captains for Skyline, just a great athletic play. Again, Mashaki slipped through there, but McBride did a great job of just tripping him up and grabbing him at his ankles. And he wears 72. And I don't think there's a finer defensive lineman in the history of the NFL than Joe Nash, and he wore 72 as well, Chris.
That's why we bring Jason Puckett on. He's one of the best in the business.
And he has the same Joe Nash neoprene elbow sleeves.
2nd down and 20. A little work to do here for the Eagles. Down 13-8. Nice little throw, nice little catch. And that's Grant Fitzgerald with the catch. And Jason Puckett, I got to say you're a very humble dad, because you mentioned, I believe, at one point your relationship with the Kirkpatricks. You mentioned the great city of Ballard, and you did not mention your daughter and the Ballard Beavers took home a state title in gymnastics last year. First state title, first team state title, I believe, in Ballard school history.
That's right. First, yeah, exactly right. And the first state title for a Ballard high school, or for a public high school in gymnastics for Ballard. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I mean, you know what it's like to watch your kids in high school and even in college, but to watch them succeed at the high school level and win a state championship, win an individual state championship as well. It's, you know, all the hard work that these kids put in any sport is just is so rewarding to watch.
Well, the penalty flags have been hurting the Eagles, especially on this drive. Kirkpatrick rolling out. Kirkpatrick throwing. Nice throw. Nice catch. Trevor Sharp with your primetime play of the night right there. Alex Kirkpatrick to Trevor Sharp. Just threw it only where Trevor Sharp could catch it. First down. Here comes the Eagles.
A phenomenal job by Alex Kirkpatrick. That's such a hard throw. You're rolling to your left as a right-hander. You got to turn, square your shoulders, throw it. As your momentum is going one way. But boy, as great as the throw was, how about that catch by Trevor Sharp? Phenomenal catch, and then not only makes the catch, adjusts on the fly, Chris, but then takes it all the way down there to the 11-yard line.
The senior Trevor Sharp with a great catch. We have a Skyline Spartan down on the field, and you mentioned the word momentum. You talk about momentum. It looked like after the penalties that Skyline had all the momentum. They needed a big play, and they definitely got one from Alex Kirkpatrick, who hooks up with Trevor Sharp for the first down, and all of a sudden it looks like Issaquah's in great field goal range. Actually, not field. I'm looking at the number. Sorry, that's Bishop Cherry, number 53, getting carried off the field right now.
Yeah, all sports are game of momentums. How do you withstand them? How do you answer right back? And we talked about it before this drive started. Could Issaquah answer right back and get the emotion, get the crowd back into it, get the cheerleaders back into it, mom and dad? Again, it's about 10 times we've heard the Eagle chant, the sound effect. I mean, the crowd needed this, and that was a huge play.
We just saw one of the Skyline coaches over there. In the back of their shirt, it says the Spartan Standard. Well, the Spartan Standard is pretty good. 7 state titles since 2004. They've been in 10 state championship games. They definitely have a standard. They have 9 alumni on the coaching staff this year, with Peyton Pallure leading the charge. But the defense is going to need to come through here for Skyline, because Issaquah is knocking on the door. Handoff. Mashaki. And Mashaki is brought down on the 2-yard line.
A great open field tackle there for Skyline. Again, you thought Mashaki, with his speed, was able to get to the corner, but he was tripped up at the last second. He normally has been able to kind of bounce that to the outside and turn away from defenders, but Skyline did a great job of just not giving up at Chris and pursuing to the football.
All right, 2nd down and 3, 4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter, great ball game. The big game just continues to deliver. Handoff, Mashaki. Mashaki, is he going to get in there? And the Issaquah players say he's in. The official says he's in. He's in. Angelo Mashaki with the touchdown. And just like that, Issaquah is back in the lead.
Just a great physical run by Mashaki. Hit in the backfield. Doesn't stop pushing his legs. It's all that off-season training that he puts in. and he just carried that defender into the end zone. And again, that's just a heck of a response by the hometown Issaquah Eagles.
And they're going to go for 2 again. They converted the first time. We'll see if they can do it again here. Alex Kirkpatrick spreads them out. Trying to take a 3-point lead. Pitch to Alex. Alex throws and picked off in the end zone. So it's going to stay a 1-point lead. No 2-point conversion on that one. But Issaquah retakes the lead, Jason, 14-13.
Again, just a great response by Issaquah. Now it goes back to Skyline. But what we've seen all game long, Chris, is just one team has a momentum-shifting play or drive, and then the other team answers. So, well, I would just expect Skyline's going to answer this possession right back here with 3:46 remaining in the third quarter.
And the game-changing play on that one is your third down play. Alex Kirkpatrick to Trevor Sharp. I mean, that was, I think, right now, it's not a touchdown play, but I think that is, if Issaquah holds on and gets the win, I think you're going to look back and that's the play that got the Eagles back into this ballgame.
Yeah, it just huge play. And again, it's games aren't decided, on one play, but I think coaches will point out that any game does come down to a few plays.
Yeah.
And I think if Issaquah were to win this game, I think you would look at that play as being one of the handful of plays that certainly led them to victory.
Angelo Mashaki with the touchdown run. That gives Issaquah a 14-13 lead. The big game sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you. It's our pleasure, our honor to have the great Jason Puckett. Been involved with Seattle sports on the radio, on the TV for over 2 decades in this market. And you can catch him now. Puck, where do we find you now for everybody out there?
Well, on all the platforms. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter at 10 a.m. We go live with our show on those platforms. Just search Puck Sports on both at 10 a.m. Also, you can listen to the show live at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday with the Puck Sports mobile app. You can download it to your Android phone or your iPhone. If you want to watch or listen to it later or up on all podcast platforms, just search Puck Sports on Apple, Spotify, all your favorite platforms. Best way to find everything is simply just go visit pucksports.com.
You really only need 2 apps, the King 5 Plus app and the Puck Sports app, and you're set. All right, Skyline's got the ball back. Issaquah has the lead 14-13. Now, Skyline's been moving the ball quite well. Just a, couple plays here and there, an interception.
They've done a great job of spreading them out. We've talked about that last drive. They were able to march down the field on that drive, and so I would assume that they would just kind of stick to the same game plan. I mean,
Ben Odom with the handoff. Colin Champ not going anywhere. Caleb Edwards was in on the play. Adele Dorr was in on the play. About 3 Eagles were in there.
One thing they have not done, maybe they'll do it here, but it's 3rd and long, so you would expect Issaquah would figure they would get Lupe into the arsenal here, but he spreads out here to the far right side, so we'll see how much attention that Eagles defense will give to him.
Siler Jones on the left side. Odom's going to throw. He's looking Jones's way. Nothing there, so he rolls out to the right side, lets it fly to the end zone. Well covered. Couple Eagles defenders there, and just nothing there. I think he was looking for Siler Jones on the left side, but Jones was well covered.
Yeah, and again, we talked about, we thought the momentum would shift. Issaquah had taken it back, and then Skyline had really no issue of moving the football, but great stand there by the Eagles. Now they get the ball back. They're going to have relatively good field position here under 3 minutes, under 2:30 to play in the third quarter. You go down and score again. Now this crowd gets into the game even more, Chris.
I've said that Milt, High Step, and Hightower is my last shout-out, but Tony White, executive producer, Tony White, he's the one in the end picking these games. And I got to tell you what, Tony White's 3 for 3 right now. I mean, we got Graham Kapowson against O'Day, week 1. Great game, came down to the final play in the fourth quarter. GK got the win. They got a win last night over Emerald Ridge. I think they're undefeated. They're going to be one of the top teams on the south side. Last week we get Bellevue taking on Lake Stevens, another great game. Michael Knipe of the Wolverines. Been to the state championship last year, won the state title 2 years ago, taking on Lake Stevens. Tom Try, what he's done with the Vikings up in Lake Stevens has been amazing. That was a great game, came down to the fourth quarter. Here we go, Jason, another good little game.
Yeah, it's great. Hey, Tony, good job. Tony, a raise for Tony White.
Just bring him a scone from the Washington State Fair and he'll be happy.
Elephant ear, Tony. Elephant ear.
What would be your favorite item at the fair?
An elephant, a scone wrapped in an elephant ear.
And
I mean, the cholesterol count on that's probably not high.
I think Austin Schilt deserves an elephant ear after today's game because this kid has been everywhere.
I mean, their best play right now is just simply, getting the ball and throwing it out to him as fast as possible and just letting – he is just so small and shifty that – and the coverage on him, when you 8, 9, 10 yards off the ball, that's just an easy pitch and catch right now. I mean, Skyline's got to make it a little bit more difficult on Skyline or Issaquah from completing that pass.
Handoff there to Angelo Mashaki. Austin Schilt. He's going with the old one pant leg down, one pant leg up. I know that's kind of a thing the kids like.
It's a look that we all patented back in the day at Kent Ridge High School. Was that look?
That's where it came from, Kent Ridge High.
It did. Along with the shadow lanes, Chris. The Mashaki, he said that he takes his offensive line. He brings the offensive line over
for dinner
every week.
Yeah.
How much money do you think they spend?
I mean, just to go out for dinner right now, we got one ninth grader. It's $70 to $80 every time you go out.
At least.
And that's just 3 kids. Mashaki with the run there. So I don't know. I think probably mom and dad spending close to $1,000.
I mean, is it like when the teams used to meet? When they play in the Rose Bowl, they'd go and do the beef eat off.
Oh, the beef, the prime rib.
The prime rib. I mean, is it like that? After a couple weeks, do you think the parents are like, all right,
And was there any chance that you and I would get invited?
I think, what's a story is brewing for you to do on that dinner.
Yeah. Why wouldn't we be there?
I mean, I would do it.
Could have got some great insight for the big game. Speaking of the big game, Issaquah leads at 14-13. They've got the ball. Alex Kirkpatrick, the quarterback, in shotgun. He goes to the air, and guess who he's throwing to, Jason Puckett? Austin Schilt. Let me redo my high school fantasy football team and add number 1 to my flex option.
Oh my God! I mean, at some point, it's there's got to be an adjustment on him, and I don't press him, get up on him, but it's just too easy right now. I mean, you can see the cornerback now is 10 yards off of him.
Trips to the left side. Sal Schilt. There's another throw. Austin Schilt picking up some more yards. Gets a nice block there from Wilson Sal. And Jordan Trice also on there on the trips to the left.
Obrest made a good tackle. He was on the coverage out there. He was able to shed, the block there on the screen. But again, they just – and I like it as a coordinator. Sometimes when a play is working, just keep going back to it and back to it and back to it. I like chocolate chip ice cream. I go back to it every night, Chris.
Well, we like the big game, and we're going to be right back here for the fourth quarter. It's going to be a dandy. Don't you go anywhere. The Phillips Law Firm King 5 big game of the week. Issaquah leads at 14-13. The final frame is coming up next.
The big game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to the King 5 big game of the week, and we've got ourselves a dandy. Fourth quarter, Issaquah leads at 14-13. They've got the ball. They're moving down the field. Kirkpatrick going to keep it. Kirkpatrick only going to pick up a couple yards. He's met there by a handful of Skyline Spartans. Hunter Hickson in on that play.
And we got some tempers flaring. They threw down Kirkpatrick down to the ground, so there's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty thrown here on Skyline, and then some pushing and shoving between the both respective lines. So just a mistake there by Skyline, because they already were driving with Issaquah. Now you're going to give him an extra 15 yards.
And that's exactly what it is. Personal foul on the defense, and that is not anything that Peyton Pallure and the coaching staff at Skyline wanted to see right there. As after they make a great tackle, they bring Kirkpatrick down, but now it's a first down, and all of a sudden, Issaquah knocking on the door again. They're back in the red zone.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, in these games, right? You know, in rivalry games, it's hard to keep your emotions in check, but you got to.
And these kids, growing up on the chateau on the plateau, have been playing youth sports against each other probably since they were 4 to 5 years old.
A lot of crossover with Little League Baseball with these two schools.
All right, Kirkpatrick going to the corner of the end zone, looking for his man, Austin Schilt. And I'm not a coach, and I'm not going to act like I am one, but, you know, we are here chasing the second guess. I'd put 2 to 3 guys on Austin Schilt right now because it seems like he's the only guy they're throwing to.
I said it before, professional second guessers. Yeah, and they did have an extra guy over there. I mean, at some point you want to just say, hey, Alex, you find somebody else to beat us. Because he's been beating us.
Yes, he's been going to him quite a bit. Second down and 10, 11:24 to go. Fourth quarter. King 5 big game of the week coming to you from Issaquah High. And Mashaki gets the handoff and picks up a couple yards. And, Jason, what's exciting is between the third and fourth quarter, I stepped out just to soak in a little bit of this crowd. And, I mean, this place is alive tonight. It's fun. The kids are on their feet. They haven't sat all night long. The Skyline crowd, they've been on their feet the whole night. This is what Friday Night Football is all about.
Ryan, I don't know if Engineer Ryan wants to chime in on this. Was it that, or did you want to eat another cookie and not be shamed?
I stepped out and had another cookie.
You didn't want to be judged.
I was going to offer to one of the high school kids, but I just ate it myself. Third down and 9, a big one here. Let's see if Skyline can get a stop. And there he is again, the game maker, Austin Schilt, and he's close to a first down.
He's just slippery. He's hard to tackle. Fantastic wide receiver. Has an offer, or I think is committed to go to Whitworth. It was a great college football program.
Oh, they play at the Pine Bowl, I believe, underneath the Ponderosa Pines. Ian Furness's son, great offensive lineman there for the Whitworth Pirates.
Kiefer Furness, outstanding offensive lineman for Whitworth.
They have really become a powerhouse in that Division III college ranks, the Whitworth Pirates.
It's amazing Kiefer was able to play college sports with his, dad's athleticism. But congratulations to Kiefer to overcome those things.
Fourth down and 1. It's a big one. Handoff, Mashaki, right side. He tried to stretch it across, but I can't give this kid enough credit on how hard he's been running the ball tonight.
Phenomenal, Chris. I mean, the way that he's able to cut on a dime, how he lowers his shoulder, the physicality in which he plays with.
Mashaki gets the first down, getting stretched out on the field a little bit. They were bringing into the game Miggy Lorette, a sophomore. I don't know if he's a replacement for Mashaki.
Maybe by just cramping, it seems like.
And there you take a look at Coach Josh Brookshire, 6th year here as the head coach of the Eags. Done a great job with this program, trying to get them their first Cole Bucket Trophy. Jason Puckett since 2019. That was the year Issaquah beat Skyline 12-11. After that, it's pretty much been all Issaquah. They won both games pretty handily during the COVID year. In 2021, Skyline won 27-7. 2022, Skyline won 17-0. 2023, Skyline won 18-7. Last year, tighter game, 24-17 Skyline. But you had a feeling this year. Issaquah got a win over Tahoma. Skyline lost to Tahoma. That maybe things were changing a little bit, and they can get in here, get a 2-point conversion. Things are going to be looking good for the Eagles.
Yeah, when you're a senior-laden team, you want to be the class that ends it. You want to be the one that says, you know what, it ended on our watch. And they're playing with great emotion. It's good to see Mashaki up. Not a serious injury, just cramping. And I can relate to Mashaki because I cramp every morning when I just get out of bed. It's immediate, right when I put one foot down.
Just one foot, yeah.
Hammy goes out, Chris.
It happens. I've had many late nights.
Or do you ever get the cramp when you sneeze? That, I think, is peak athleticism.
Couple fine athletes up here in the booth for the King 5 big game.
Sure are.
All right, 1st and 1. And that's Tyler Kirkpatrick in at quarterback, and Tyler keeps it, and Tyler scores. So Alex takes his seat, and Tyler runs it in, and we talked about this. Tyler's just a little bit bigger of a guy, gets the quarterback keeper, and he scores.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost look at him. He's kind of Tebow-like, right? He wears number 15. And, you know, when they want to get in some short yardage situations because of his size, you know, he's just much bigger and more physical of the runner. And that was just a great play call. And once again, we don't see the field goal kicker here to kick the extra point, so going for 2 again.
Going for 2 again. 20-13 is your score. Extra point would make it an 8-point game, doing the math, and that's what they're going to do. Maybe they were listening to us here.
Yeah, show them something else.
That's Chase Steffen. Kick is up.
Nice kick.
And the kick is good.
Yeah,
it's a good-looking kicker right there.
Yeah, and it looks good, and it looks better when you kick it from the left side, doesn't it? God, it does. It just has a better look to it. Beautiful.
So with 9:22 to go, Issaquah, with the extra point, takes a 21-13 lead here. Plenty of time, though. Plenty of time for Skyline and their offense to move the chains and get down the field.
Yeah, and this is where, like, if you're Issaquah right now, you look at it, and it's hard not to get ahead of yourself a little bit, right? There's so much time left, but you're looking at the score, you're looking at the history of the rivalry, and you're thinking, God, we're only 9 minutes away. 9 minutes and 22 seconds is an eternity.
Well, I mean, we saw at the end of the first half what this Skyline offense could do.
Yeah.
A couple big throws down the field, and all of a sudden they were in scoring distance.
Yeah. But again, it's a one-possession game, so they can. Skyline's got everything. You know, there's so much time left. They don't need to, press and try to get it on this drive.
Second half, a little back and forth. Third quarter, Skyline defense came up big with an interception. Then it was sophomore quarterback Ben Odom with a quarterback keeper. Skyline takes the lead. Alex Kirkpatrick finds Trevor Sharp on a huge third down to get the first down to get Issaquah in the red zone. Then it's Angelo Mashaki with the touchdown. And Issaquah takes the lead. And then it's Tyler Kirkpatrick coming in for his big brother, quarterback keeper. Gets the touchdown. 21-13 is where we stand right now.
Yeah, it's just a mistake there on the kickoff. You're trying to pooch it down there, right? Catch Skyline sleeping to kind of land it in that in between, kind of that no man's area, and you ended up kicking it out of bounds. And so now you give Skyline some great field position here at the 35-yard line.
In case you were watching the Mariners who won today and you're just joining us in the second half, Spartans, Eagles playing for the Cole Bucket Trophy. They've been playing for this trophy since 1997. If you're wondering and you're looking in your Washington State history books and wondering why in the world are they playing for a Cole Bucket Trophy, all you have to do, Jason Puckett, is look back to the 1880s when Issaquah was a coal mining town, 1880s to 1930s, so they honor that rich, deep history with the Cole Bucket Trophy.
Chris, you're not a Washingtonian if you don't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like saying geoduck instead of gooey duck. That's why we have you and I here, right?
Puyallup.
All right, we're not in Puyallup. We're in beautiful Issaquah, in the shadow of Tiger Mountain. And here comes the Spartans with the first down carry.
And then Champ again with another carry right up the gut. And again, they for a team that came into this, and you've mentioned it several times, that really been committed to running the football, but boy, they look like a well-oiled machine on the ground.
I've said it before. Offensive coordinator Casey Williams said they ran the ball 5 times against Tahoma. He said his running backs looked at him and said, we got to run the ball more. Well, that's what they've done tonight. Odom looking over the sidelines. Odom chatting with his lineman. Low snap. Odom picks it up. Odom fires. He's hit as he throws. Nice catch right there by Boopy. And he's down on the 3-yard line at Boopé with a great catch. Got to give a lot of credit to Odom, who was hit as he was throwing right there. First down, and here comes Skyline.
Chris, I can't say how much I'm just impressed with Odom. He took a shot, and he's hurt. I mean, he can't put a ton of weight on his right leg, but he took an absolute shot, still got that ball away, and a great job by Boopé to make a play on it.
Yeah, Boopé, that's I think his 5th nice catch he's made tonight. He has been a weapon for Skyline. All right, first down and 7. First and goal, handoff. Champ maybe picks up a yard. We'll see where they spot it.
Looks like Odom is okay now. He just was limping a little bit after that initial hit, but now is able to walk okay. I still just a little dazed from that hit.
Yeah,
that just was the amount of toughness that any quarterback has to have to stay in the pocket like that, knowing you're about to get blown up.
I don't like to give nicknames away for free, but Big Game Ben Odom, he may earn it. We'll see.
I was wondering how long we were going to get to Big Game.
Did you like the dramatic pause there?
It was.
Low snap. Odom picks it up, throws to the corner, looking for Boopé. Boopé double team there. Nothing happening. Chase Hansen says, not today. Grant Fitzgerald also there on the coverage.
And one thing you've seen here, throughout the game from Jacob Odom, those snaps have been a little low. And so Odom's having to go down there and pick it up off the turf, and it throws the timing off a little bit when it's not that perfect snap right back to you.
Third down and 5. I believe we're probably in 2-down territory for the Spartans.
I think spread them out, run it twice.
All right, the Eagles fans on their feet. Skylines fans, they haven't sat down all night long. Odom looks to the sidelines. He's got Champ to the left of him. He's got Blake Goldthwait over the right. Looks like Skyline's going to talk this over. Yeah. They're going to call a timeout. 21-13. I think you said it. Probably want to see Champ run twice here for Skyline.
Yeah, I mean, I think both. I think Champ and Hundrup have done a nice job of carrying the ball in between the tackles. They've had great success of spreading them out, going trips to one side, going 4 wide, and then hitting it up real quick up the middle. I mean, we talked about this earlier in the game, but when you are this spread offense, you get down there, it's hard to throw the football. It's the windows are so much tighter.
You and I have been all around the state of Washington.
Yep.
Is this not one of the nicer high schools in the state?
I think it's one of the all-time greatest settings that we have in the state. You're just surrounded by the trees and the outdoors with the mountains
We're
around
in a gorgeous press box here at Gary Moore Stadium.
Yeah, it's a beautiful high school and it's a beautiful area. It's what I enjoy about Issaquah. You drive in here and it's a real throwback to like the 50s, a very small town.
Mm-hmm. All right, third down and 5. Odom shotgun. Champ to the left of him. Odom's going to throw. Odom's looking. He's going to keep it. Odom is in there. Touchdown. Big game. Ben Odom. And this sophomore quarterback just continues to play like a seasoned veteran out there.
Wearing number 10, a little Jake Locker to him at times. Showing his speed and athleticism. No one was open. Saw the edge, saw an opening and took it. Great read here by him, and he's been fantastic in this football game.
Well, this is what I can't say enough about this kid. He's a kid. He's a sophomore.
Yeah.
They're down 20-13. And probably, arguably, one of the biggest games of his career when you look at the crowd. I mean, this place is packed to the rafters. It's a rivalry game. He understands that. He can look over here and see that the Issaquah stands are filled, Skyline stands are filled. And what does he do? You know what? All he does is throw a long pass to Bupe. He gets hit while he's throwing it. They get the 2-point conversion. That's huge right there. And all of a sudden, Jason Puckett, the big game is tied up 21-all.
Tony White, you know how to pick him. He got a nice assist there from Hickson, who he was kind of stonewalled at the line of scrimmage, and then Hickson came in from behind and did the Reggie Bush push-tush, to him.
Well, this one is living up to the hype and then some. And there you can see the Spartan crowd on their feet. There's the cheer squad. 3 state titles for that cheer squad last year.
How heavy do you think that flag is?
Those I've carried those flags and sometimes the King 5 Sports pregame stuff.
Yeah.
They're heavy.
Yeah.
I could only go about 10 seconds on those.
I saw you in the pregame where you were going to do the flips like the cheerleaders of Issaquah. Why not attempt to do it?
I was about to do the flip, and then I heard the producer say wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
So that's why we had
I think millions of viewers on King 5 would have loved to see that.
Well, you know
who would have done it?
Greg Copeland?
Paul Silva.
Paul Sylvie
would have done it.
Well, speaking of Paul Sylvie, don't forget Paul Sylvie. And the 5th quarter, Sunday nights on King 5 TV, the home of the Seattle Seahawks. Paul Sylvie, Walter Jones, Steve Rabel. They got the 5th quarter. They'll break down the Seahawks Saints game. Ariel Arsuto will have all the high school highlights tonight. I'll be in studio tomorrow with your Mariners recaps and a little Savannah Bananas, and we'll also have our King 5 big game plays of the week. You can check those out on the King 5 Sports Instagram page. 21-all, 6:41 to go. We've got a dandy. Couple rivals squaring off in beautiful Issaquah, Washington. And this one going back and forth. Our honor to have Jason Puckett from pucksports.com in the booth for tonight's game. It's a pleasure, buddy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you having me, inviting me out here. You know how much I love high school sports and high school football, and just a great venue and 2 great programs, 2 great student bodies, and just everything that high school sports is all about, right? It's just having both towns kind of shut down, for the night and put all their attention to high school athletics. Now, here is Issaquah. The ideal thing here is you just chew up some clock, go down and win this game.
Mashaki to the left, Mashaki up the middle, Mashaki to the right. We'll see if Alex Kirkpatrick does that. There's Mashaki to the left. Nice carry there. Probably picks up 9 yards on that carry. Great work right there. And you look up and you see some of those offensive linemen. Samuel Wilkes, Muhammad Ba, Nolan Russi paving the way on that left side.
Are you in the coach's headset? You called it, going left.
Well, what did I say now? Up the middle? We'll see. 2nd and 1. Kirkpatrick, shotgun. Handoff. Mashaki going right side, and that's a great tackle right there from Hunter Hickson.
Oh, beautiful. There's been some great tackling on both sides, but Hunter Hickson really, for me, stands out as just a sensational open field tackler.
He's made 2 dandy shoestring tackles tonight.
Yeah, that's just a great play.
Hunter Hickson looking to the sidelines, looking to his coaches, coming through with a great defensive effort right there. So you went from 2nd and 1 to now 3rd and 4.
Yep.
Big play call here for the Eagles. Let's see if the senior quarterback can keep moving the chains. 3rd down and 4. Kirkpatrick fakes the handoff. He's going to keep it. He's going to throw deep. And that is a completion. What a play there. And that is number 2 with the catch. That's Grant Fitzgerald.
Chris, that held up. That was so high up in the air and held up in the air like one of the skydivers coming off the mountain. Almost was hit with the football.
Now, hang on, Jason Peckett. Hang on. I didn't see any laundry on the field, but apparently there was some laundry out there.
Now that's a killer.
And the home Boo Birds are out. Yeah. Nobody likes that call.
Let's hear the take the whistle chant. Ryan, can we turn up the crowd mic for take your whistle?
Couple unhappy parents on the Issaquah sidelines. 5-yard penalty. So that's going to bring up about a 3rd down and 9 now. Great play call. Kirkpatrick hooking up with Fitzgerald. Now he's got 2 receivers to the right. Little dump to Mashaki.
They had it too, Chris.
Yeah, Mason Foreman was right there on that play. So even if Mashaki makes the catch, Mason Foreman was going to be right there with the tackle.
Interesting. I don't know if they had Schilt on the field on that 3rd down, but man, at least as a decoy or something.
We didn't see a lot of Schultz in that.
No, they didn't. They had such great success with that, too. I have never seen a punter stand so close when he punts the ball. Chris, he's 5 yards.
Yeah, this is.
They don't have a return man to Skyline, so they're not rushing. But
so it's kind of a side kick he's going with there.
Yeah, but it's
takes a step back. Great return here. Chase Hansen. Hansen is dancing down to the 9-yard line. Actually, that's Bupe. Bupe has made some big plays all night long, and Bupe's getting paid tonight.
Yeah, that just was a great return. He got it. He got to the sideline. He let his blocker set it up and just turned on the Jets. And we've talked a lot about this game tonight, just a wave of emotions. And just a wave of momentum, and now the momentum shifted right back here to the Eagles.
It's like a roller coaster ride, just up and down. It has gone. It looks like Issaquah is going to take the momentum. Then all of a sudden Skyline gets it back. Looks like they have a big 1st down catch. Comes back on a penalty. They punt the ball, and there's Bupe with another big play for Skyline.
And here they go spreading them out again. Could be a run play.
And that's exactly what it is. Right up the middle into the end zone, Colin Champ. And all of a sudden, Skyline has retaken the lead here at Gary Moore Stadium. Jason Puckett, you called it. Spreaded them out. Ben Odom, handoff. Colin Champ, touchdown.
Yeah, they love that offensive set, this Casey Williams. He loves going trips to one side, splitting out another wide receiver. It's just so hard to defend. When you spread everyone out like that, and then you're able to go right up the middle. Great blocking up front.
Colin Champ is having a night right now. I mean, this kid, we've been saying his name all night long, but the person that set all that up, Bupe, number 3, got 6 nice catches.
Yeah, they're going to have to re-kick this one. There was some confusion there on Skyline getting the field goal unit out. Didn't have enough guys out there. Were late getting a man on, and then that player moved, so they'll re-kick it. And I'm just glad that even at the high school level they still have problems like this. As a coach of junior football, I lose my voice every Saturday, Chris, of yelling, we need another guy out there on field goal.
What's the name of your team?
The Ballard Junior Knights.
The Ballard Junior Knights.
The big game tomorrow, Chris, against Meadowdale.
Ooh.
Looking for our first win of the year.
Okay. How's Meadowdale looking?
We haven't had any advanced scouting yet on Meadowdale. We don't know what we're about to see. But the Junior Knights better bring it tomorrow. Well, there's going to be a lot of running on practice on Tuesday.
No advanced scouting on Meadowdale.
No, we're not into the advanced scouting at the junior football level yet.
Okay. Here comes Skyline in for the extra point. Kick is up, and kick is good. And just like that, with 4:25 to go, momentum has shifted to the visitors from Skyline High School. They take themselves a 28-21 lead.
I know you're going to hand out the big game player of the game. I suggest the young lady carrying the Skyline flag may get a consideration.
Well, like I said, they've won 3 state titles over there. Coach Kim has won 33 state titles.
Shout out Coach Kim.
I mean, besides maybe Royal City, the football team, maybe I know Linden and Linden Christian, they've won a lot of state titles up in that area.
Right. The great Tumwater teams, and then Coach Kim.
Sid Otten.
Yeah.
Money.
33. That is fun.
Well, I mean, we talk about Skylines coming into this game with 7 state titles for football. 4:25 to go. I think, Jason, when we talked about Issaquah getting the ball the last time, that we would see a lot of run and take the clock out, but I think you have to insert a player that Skylines had troubles with, and that would be number one, Austin Schilt.
Yeah, that I mean, they just got to keep going back to that. And until Skyline can show that they can stop that, where they're just quickly getting it out to him in the slot, just throwing the ball out there to him. I would just keep running that play until they can prove that they can shut that down.
All right, here we go. And Skyline was all over that one. Not much going on the return game there. So here comes Issaquah's offense. Down 7 with 4:18 to play. Mashaki, Schilt have been the big weapons along with Alex Kirkpatrick. We've seen Trevor.
I mean, we have Phillips Law Firm, but it does sound like a law firm.
It does. The law firm of Schilt, Mashaki.
Mashaki Schilt. No, Schilt Mashaki.
And Kirkpatrick. And we know Trevor Sharp can catch the ball, so will we see him again? All right, here comes Kirkpatrick and the Eagles. Nobody's left this stadium. In and out of the hands of Jake Staples.
Yeah, the drops have been an issue for Issaquah this year. And another drop there on first down, so bringing up 2nd down and 10. It's obviously an offense that's not comfortable living with the pass. I mean, they can't throw the football, but they want to run it.
Well, and they'll talk about that loss to Olympia, 16-15. And, coaches told me we dropped a couple open balls that should have been touchdowns. And hurting them there a little bit too. Mashaki gets the little dump-off pass, trying to pick up some yards. Getting some blocks there from big old Michael Pack, 4-year starter for the Eagles.
What's great about that one, at every level you teach us, is to rally to the football. There was 10 white hats over there the second he caught that ball, all pursuing to the football.
Well, it's big play call time right now. 3rd down and 11. Clock is ticking, 3:43 to go. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. Down 7. Issaquah needs to get something rolling here. Hunter Hickson in the middle of that defense. He's been stellar all night long. Kirkpatrick brought down. Caleb McBride with the big sack right there, and the big man is celebrating with his Spartans teammates. Look at Caleb McBride. He is fired up right now.
He is he's my favorite player. I'm telling you, there's just so much. He's tugging at the heartstrings of a 10-year-old of wearing that number 72 with the neoprene arm sleeves. If we get a close-up of him and he's got a mustache like the great Joe Nash, I'll love him even more. That was just a tremendous one-on-one battle.
Look at Big Game Louie getting tied on 72 for you.
Yeah, get it. Yeah, look at him.
All right.
Old school football right there.
So they're going for it here, Jason Puckett. 4th down and 21, 2:45. Here's your play of the game right here. Kirkpatrick's got to make some magic happen. He's got time, and incomplete. And number 21, Mason Foreman, was there, but it's probably better that he ended up dropping that ball.
Actually, yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, he's going to probably beat him. Yeah, everyone wants an interception. But you're exactly right. Now they have much better field position. He was looking for Schilt, who couldn't come up with it. Well, he was, behind him, but he had to limp off the field because he's cramping. He's been cramping up in the second half a lot.
28-21. Issaquah still has 2 timeouts. Defense is going to have to make some stops right here. They're going to have to do something to slow down this team. and get a big play. Touchdown. This ball game's over.
And that's a tough call if you're Issaquah, right? You have 2 timeouts. Do you punt it there and hope to get the ball back, but you won't get it back with much time. But God, that was a lot of yards to get.
Well, last time they punted, it was Bupe that returned it 40 yards and got him into the red zone. All right. Odom, handoff Champ. Champ picking up 2 to 3 yards. Following his blockers, Jacob Bowden. And Issaquah will take a timeout, so 2:28 to go. The crowd has got a little quiet here. This is actually where you need that that ASB yell leader to fire up because you need the crowd right now, Jason. You need do they still have the ASB yell leaders?
I think they do. I think they still have DECA. Yes.
Okay.
I think that's still a thing in high school.
I think in high school I was in like 32 clubs just so I could get my picture in the yearbook and all those things.
Sure, you were.
I look back, I'm not quite sure I did much with any of the clubs.
Chris, that's called narcissism.
I was helping out with Viking Night, Hiking Viking.
Hiking Viking? There was really a club called Hiking
Viking. We were a hiking club.
Did you wear like German attire?
No, we hiked over to the Pizza Hut. All right, second down and 7. Odom, it's been spectacular tonight. Handoff Champ. Champ is brought down. Several Eagles there on the tackle.
Use the last time out. Not even need to score, just get a first down, and it's over.
Yeah. 28-21. I would imagine Skyline would bring out the field goal unit here.
We have,
3rd down and 6?
3rd down and 6. I think depending where, Peyton Pillar's got to have a little bit of the pirate in him.
Yeah,
And Mike Leach did not like kickers.
He did not.
Like many things. But I think if he gets...
His kicker looked pretty good on the last
He did. I think
PAT.
I think if he's close, though, I think he may go for it. But, the defensive-minded, coach in Peyton Pillar may say, let's just kick the field goal. Now we're up by 2 scores. Essentially, it's over.
All right, everybody on their feet now. The Eagles crowd getting a little rowdy. Champ on the left. Champ's got the carry. He's going to pick up. Oh, he's fighting for more yardage. Takes about 3 Eagles to bring him down. I think he's about 2 yards shy of the first down. So now Peyton Pillar, it's decision time.
And it looks like he's going to send out the field goal unit.
All right.
That was a good run, though. That
kid has not gone down easy all night long.
Not at all.
Colin Champ's been amazing.
He was kind of hit right at the line of scrimmage, but again, just kept his legs moving.
This is a sophomore, Cooper Luge, in to kick, trying to give the Spartans a 10-point lead. No pressure, but this is a big kick for a young sophomore. Big game coming down to this. Special teams, special moment here. Cole Bucket Trophy up for grabs. Will Skyline be taking it home to the Chateau on the Plateau, or will it be staying in Issaquah tonight?
A nice decision there by Peyton. Keep running the clock down just a little bit, and then end up calling a timeout. So now that can work perhaps against him. You want to take some time off the clock, but now have you iced your kicker?
Be interesting to know where the Cole Bucket Trophy lives during the year. Is it in one of the nice trophy cases in the gymnasium? You know how you go to these high schools?
Yeah. And I want to see the actual coal miner here that's bringing it out.
All right. Here we go. 1:18 to play. Skyline with back-to-back touchdowns to take a 28-21 lead. A field goal will give them a 10-point lead. Pretty much will seal the deal.
Right.
Issaquah would need to score a touchdown, get an onside kick, and then kick a field goal. This will pretty much seal it. Kick is up, and it's blocked. Hang on. Hang on. The big game ain't going anywhere. Jason Puckett, buckle in your seat, get in your sofa, The Eagles are still alive.
It was a great snap, and it was a good hold. It just, the protection on the right side of Skyline broke down. That left side for Issaquah just came storming in to make just a massive play here with 1:10 to go. There's the Eagle.
The Eagles soaring over Jerry Moore Stadium. Nobody has left the building.
Football and freedom, Chris, every time I hear it.
Well, you mentioned freedom. It's free. Thanks to Phillips Law Firm. The big game coming to you. King 5 Plus. Phillips Law Firm unleashing justice for you. Unleashing great high school football for you. 28-21. 1:10 on the clock. Issaquah has the ball. Down 7 to their rivals. Alex Kirkpatrick, he's got time. He lets it fly. Nobody there. There's a flag on the field. That's pass interference.
Yeah, Owen Seethoff, he's trying to make a play, and he came back and just, too much physicality and hands there on the back of the receiver.
Yeah, Grant Fitzgerald was the receiver that Kirkpatrick was looking for. And that's a first down. 1:05 to go. Oh, my goodness. What a game. Can I even start to imagine, Jason Puckett, if they do score a touchdown, they've gone for 2 all night long. Probably wouldn't stop there, would they?
Why not? I mean, go for the win.
They've got
at home.
They got a long way to go, though. I'm sure somebody at home is saying right now, easy, Egan. They're not even past the 50-yard line right now.
Again, we can dare to dream here. Just want an exciting finish, and we're getting it.
Jason Puckett, representing the great city of Ballard. 28-21 your score.
If you ever visit, 2 hours to get there, in and out.
Alex Kirkpatrick, the senior quarterback from Issaquah. 20-plus seniors on this Eagles team. Trying to find something here. He's got a man wide open, and that's a first down for the Eagles. Here they come. Chase Hansen.
You would never coach that, Chris, to roll to one side and throw it back across your body to the middle of the field, but he got away with it.
50 seconds and counting on the clock. Issaquah out of timeout. Skyline has 1. Kirkpatrick looking, under pressure. He's got to get out of bounds, and that's exactly what he does right there. Colin Champ was there to knock him out of bounds.
Yeah, but that's set up by the big guy in the middle again, Caleb McBride. He was being double teamed, and he just drove not one but both of those offensive linemen right back into the lap of Alex Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, Caleb McBride, we can't say his name enough tonight. That big man has been everywhere, causing a lot of havoc, trying to get after Kirkpatrick. And right in the middle of the whole thing, Hunter Hickson trying to fire up the defense as well. 2nd down and 8, 38 seconds. That's the more important number right now. 38 seconds to go in this game. Issaquah down 7. Alex Kirkpatrick scrambling, throwing, firing deep. He's got his guy, and there he is! Austin Schilt! Austin Schilt! And here they come. But they're running out of time, Jason. 30 seconds to go. What a play right there.
I was just going to say, I was a little surprised how Skyline defensively was playing that. They had a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage and not much help on the backside, and they got burned.
Clock is moving. They got to spike it here and stop the clock and organize. 20 seconds and counting. They're going to play. Kirkpatrick rolling left. Kirkpatrick has some space, just running out of bounds. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's out at the 19-yard line.
Well, 11 seconds.
Wow.
Depending where you throw it, where you get it, 2 plays, maybe. Well, at least 2 plays.
The King 5 big game coming down to the final drive for a 3rd straight week in a row. Issaquah down 21-28. Skyline was a field goal away from pretty much sealing the deal. Special teams coming through in a special way for Issaquah. They block the field goal. They get the ball. And here we go. 11 seconds on the clock.
Watch Schilt right there on the slot on the right side.
Kirkpatrick in the shotgun. He's going to fire to the end zone. And it's knocked down. 5 seconds still on the clock. That's Ari Gibbons with the defensive play there for Skylines. Ari Gibbons knocking the ball down.
And I like that on the route was Chase Hansen. There was a lot of battling going on there, a lot of hands. But I do like that the officials let that play out. It's okay to let it be physical.
All right, you got 5 seconds. I think we all think it's probably going to be going to Austin Schilt. But he's got to come up with something special here.
I would have my secondary back on the 5, plan on the 5-yard. I'd even drop those linebackers back.
Look for a big target in Trevor Sharp out there as well. Alex Kirkpatrick, the senior. 5 seconds, final play. He's under pressure. He lets it go, and it is picked off. Ball game. Ari Gibbons coming up with a defensive stop there, but I think Jason Puckett, what sparked that was the pressure from the big boys up front. Caleb McBride just continues to bring the heat, along with Chex, Gavin, and Hunter Hickson.
Yeah, that defensive line in that second half really kind of won the game for them. They were so physical in that second half, really pressuring Kirkpatrick.
Well, high school football on a Friday night, the toughest thing about this stuff, Buck, is one team wins, one team loses, but this was a heck of a ball game. Two teams giving everything out there tonight, a rivalry game. And for Skyline, the Cole Bucket Trophy will be heading back to Spartanville. Skyline wins it 28-21. I think when you look at this Skyline team, you look at them and you say the future is bright with a sophomore quarterback by the name of Ben Odom, who had a phenomenal night tonight, playing more like a senior, not a sophomore. The defensive pressure, and there he is right there. There's Ben Odom. I said I may nickname him Big Play Ben, Big Game Ben, and he definitely played it tonight.
He was phenomenal. When they needed a big play and a spark, he answered the bell every single time. And for just a sophomore to show that type of leadership, command, and poise, you're right. Future is very bright for Skyline with him at the helm.
There's Kaysen Williams walking off the sidelines along with Peyton Pallur. Kaysen Williams said we only ran the ball 5 times against Tahoma in our loss. Well, what do they do tonight? They run the ball quite a bit. A lot of Colin Champ tonight, a lot of Corbin Hundrup tonight. And the Spartans are going to be heading home pretty happy. Issaquah drops to 1-2. Nice win they had over Tahoma. Lost a tough one to Olympia. This is another tough loss. But when you have 20 seniors, it's all about regroup, refocus. You can still get out there, get some wins, get into the playoffs, and make something happen.
Yeah, a great performance by both teams. They played hard, and that's what a rivalry game should sound like and what it should look like.
Well, from Gary Moore Stadium, there it is. That's the final. Skyline 28, Issaquah 21. Our big game next week. Apparently we've been selected. It's heading down to the 253. We've been up north quite a bit, so we're going to be heading and taking a look at Emerald Ridge. It's homecoming week for Emerald Ridge, the home of Jacob Lane and Denzel Boston and the Skockles. They'll be hosting a little rival game. They'll be taking on the Puyallup Vikings, a team that some say is a top 10 team in the state. They're undefeated. So that will be at Spark Stadium next week. That will be our King 5 big game of the week. Puyallup Vikings undefeated taking on the Emerald Ridge Jags. And there you see some happy students right there from Skyline celebrating in the middle of the Issaquah field. Jason Puckett for everybody once again. Tell us where we can find you.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m., Puck Sports, pucksports.com. Find us on YouTube and all podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts.
All right, Peyton Pallur, the former Coug, great with his team in the middle of the field. Good luck to your Cougs tomorrow in the Apple Cup. It'll be interesting to see how Kaysen Williams and Pallur
They may not talk tomorrow.
Well, it's been fun. Once again, the big game next week will be coming to you from Carl Sparks Stadium. Puyallup Vikings taking on the Emerald Ridge Jags. From Gary Moore Stadium, I'm Chris Egan. Big thanks to Phillips Law Firm, Jason Puckett, and the entire King 5 Sports crew. It's been a pleasure. Once again, Skyline wins it 28-21. We'll see you next Friday night.
The Big Game is sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, unleashing justice for you.